Hello, and welcome to the Pirate Radio edition of the UK Steelers podcast. This is our new era, too hot to handle by any podcast services, the UK Steelers podcast. You're joined as always by me, Simon Stanley, for episode 306. My two friends here, Gavin Marshall, Mark Hansen. Gentlemen, we've been banned. We've been taken off the air.
But we're still here. We're still here talking come hail, come snow, death, taxes, and the UK Steelers podcast. Nothing will stop us. We continue to roll on. Thank you.
We made it through COVID. We'll make it through this.
I don't know who's listening to this, but if you,
Oh,
if
they'll
you're
find
out
us. They'll find us.
Yeah, just keep turning that dial. You'll find it through the static.
Yeah, I don't even know where they're listening to this.
Tell us where you're listening to this. If you're listening to this, tell us where you're listening. We want to know what the most popular outside of the he who shall not be named platform is.
For anyone not on Twitter, anyone not following along, Spotify decided to unilaterally delete both my personal Spotify account and the podcast's account, which they forced me to link to my personal account. May I add, when they bought Anchor.
Jesus.
So appreciate that, Spotify. Thank you. It's actually a little bit unclear to me whether or not it was because of the copyright issues, which it seems like the timing was too reasonable because we got that strike, or if it's like maybe just a complete because when Ketz was speaking to the support people, they said that it was like suspicious activity on the account.
Right.
But I also don't trust a word he said because it seemed like just a random bunch of AI morons, most likely, that he was talking to.
Yeah, Ketz was speaking to about 90 different quote-unquote people. So the first one was called Minty, for God's sake.
We can't have nice things anymore.
Yeah, no, we can't.
We'll work it out, and testament to that is the fact that you're listening to this now. So it's been solved. So let's move on. No worries.
Chloe has... Well, no, we will not belittle this, and we will not move on, Gav. Because Chloe's just walked in, and she has collated an archive of almost all of our old episodes, apart from the ones that got taken out, a few of those. She even went on YouTube and tracked down some of the ones that were taken out that she couldn't find.
No way.
So we have like as much of a complete collection as we can until we get back into the old Spotify account.
I've often said that, Chloe is just wife material for you, Simon, and I think this this solidifies it.
Yeah, it's a good job she can't hear that. she's just staring at me confused now.
It's all good, Chloe. It's all good.
Said you're a good wife material.
It's all good.
No, you can leave now.
All in a good way.
All right. Okay. So yeah, here we are. So we're starting a new endeavor here. What should we? Is this a chance to completely rename the podcast, Gav? Do we just call it, UK Steelers Fuck Spotify podcast?
I don't think so. I think we just roll on, and I think the brand remains, and just where we're hosted changes. That's
okay. All right. Well, tell Gav's already upset at me for dropping an F-bomb in the first 3 minutes, but to be very clear, fuck Spotify.
We're very much in our this
and
is
actually,
the Eras tour.
While we're at it, all major corporations, all of them.
Hang on. Before we go down this route, do we really want episode 1, if we do go back to Spotify, to be banned again for such language and talking about the corporate overlords like that?
There's plenty of podcasts out there, I think, talk about Spotify in worse ways. I'm sure there's episodes titled that somewhere out there.
Spotify can eat my shorts.
There you go. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, maybe that'll be the episode title. All right, let's roll into it. We're going to talk some Steelers this episode. We're going to get back into it.
I've just got it. I got it. I know what to do. We get all the Patreons and every other listener to send in their addresses, and then we email out CD-ROMs of the podcast.
Ooh, old school, like it.
Maybe wax cylinders.
Yeah.
Maybe we just publish it as a newspaper article. It's
just a Monday morning quarterback transcript of the pod.
That's an entire newspaper, the length of our episodes. My God.
Yeah. Well, let's try and not make this the length of an entire newspaper this week, because God knows I'm going to blow a gasket at some point out of frustration with just the day and the way it's gone. So let's cheer me up. Let's talk some football as if none of this has happened. Housekeeping, and as a part of it, I just want to read something. I just want to check. This isn't what you were talking about, is it, Mark? That Rob Ferguson sent?
Did he send you the same?
Okay, he sent it to you as well. Okay, in that case, I'm tripping on you, and I'll let you go.
Oh, do you want me to do it? Because it's a very long. Is it very long?
Yeah. I was just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. So this seems to be a regular thing that's happening now on the podcast. welcome to Corrections Corner.
Wait, this isn't me, is it?
Huh?
No, well, yes, it is actually.
Huh?
Well, sort of. It's kind of an amalgamation of all of us, really. But this has come, as I said, from Rob Ferguson, and this is in relation to the flying ants discussion from last week. So this this is Rob's full corrections corner for us. As a marine biologist, insects are not really my area, but as I was name checked on the ant chat, here we go.
You're as close as we're going to get, Rob.
Exactly. As Sai clarified later in the podcast, all ants come from eggs. They hatch from the egg into a larval stage, in brackets worm-like things, and are fed by the adults. Once they reach a certain size, they undergo metamorphosis, like a caterpillar butterfly, and emerge into any of the 3 castes of ant. Like in the masterpiece Aliens, love how he's put that in there. There are castes of ant which perform different roles. Workers are the normal ants we see most of the time gathering food, building a nest, fighting each other, fighting other ants, caring for the young, etc. The other castes are males and queens. There is typically 1 queen per colony, and basically everything the colony does revolves around making sure she lays as many eggs as possible to grow the colony, and in doing so spread the genes of the colony as far as possible. The males do basically nothing, and just wander around the colony till their big day, the nuptial flights. As Sai said, during the nuptial flights, young queens and all the males leave the nest, and the males try and mate with as many queens as possible, then die. The queens then go on and form new colonies. The whole point of this is to generate new genetic variation and spread the colonies to new areas. Some facts about ants: they are the longest living insect. Some queens can live for 30 years, apparently. There was a colony in Argentina.
Holy moly, 30-year-old ants. Who knew it? Damn, don't ever... I will take more care blasting ant nests with water. Now I know that there's a 30-year-old in there.
I bet those 30-year-old ants never had to deal with Spotify deleting their account.
Maybe they wish they could.
There was a colony in Argentina that was 3,700 miles wide. This consisted of 33 ant populations that merged into a super colony. Ants farm plants and other insects. For example, leafcutter ants use the leaves they harvest to grow fungi that they eat. And the ants you see on things like apple trees and roses in your garden are actually herding aphids, which they farm to eat the honeydew, or the sweet poo of the aphids, effectively. So there you go. There's the full rundown of Rob's knowledge.
Thanks, Rob. That's awesome.
They got interrupted by breaking news of the Chiefs waiving Justin Ross. So I was a bit thrown off halfway through that. So.
Oh, wow.
That's why you want to turn off notifications. It must be frustrating for Rob. It's like he's listening to his favourite science podcast, and then some idiot says something stupid about football. Well, it's the same with this one. He's listening to his favourite football podcast, and someone says something stupid about science.
And someone's like, "Are ants born out of eggs?"
Yeah. and then don't mention the history stuff as well. Jeez. So yeah,
maybe that horse was filled with ant eggs. Now, that would have been a very different kind of Battle of Troy.
We must do better with our general knowledge. Sorry. Thank you, Rob, for that.
What will we get wrong this week?
We aren't here for general knowledge. We're here for Pittsburgh Steelers knowledge, of which the caliber is no higher.
Well, that's true.
But shout out to, I tell you, a group of people where the caliber is high. The Patreones, the producers, Jason, trying not to forget the group, but increasingly wrapped up in Britball Bowdler, Rob Ferguson, Teenage Mutant Ninja Dave Hart, Glenn Jones, Matt Audley, Steve Williams, Ian Ferrugia, Christian Robb, Thomas Fielden, Joe Pearson, our resident food correspondent Christopher Anderson, Philip Williams, Laura Casey, Michael Coonahan, Paul Fielden, the obscenely handsome Lee Matthews, and the Aussie Storm Galileo West.
Thanks to those wonderful producers.
Christopher Anderson, who was on this version of the episode last year that we're doing today.
Wow, really?
Fun fact for you.
It's been that long.
It's been that long.
Do you know?
He might have been on one since. He's been on a couple.
Oh, he has been on. No, but I just mean since the first one that he was on, though. Like, that's... Wow.
I think that was his first one, yeah.
Smokes, that's crazy.
Wow, yeah, I was in my hotel room in Brighton, I remember.
That's one of those things where it just happens. It makes you think, wow, a year goes by upsettingly quick.
Yeah, 25th of July that was, so yeah, coming up to it, yeah.
All right, wow. Got to get Chris back on here one of these episodes soon.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, what are we doing today? Whose idea was this?
Well, I mean, this is an annual
forefront
thing, isn't it? I think. But do you remember the acronym?
I do remember there was an
let's
acronym.
see if you can remember it.
The acronym was
ATAC.
FT 5 S. The steel.
You're already well off.
No.
QTNADTT. Yeah, curb music, perfect there. Yeah, QTNADTC. Questions that need answering during training camp.
QTNADTC, of course.
Yes, which you tried to change to couldnt, but it didn't work. Yeah, so QTNADTC.
QNADTC.
I did actually, before we get into it, I did want to talk back about the last 2 episodes we did. I thought were pretty good. We don't often go like around the league, and I thought there were some good listening. So well done to everyone involved. But what I thought was most interesting about it was that we've learned that what we think are the direct competition for the Steelers in terms of where they are is the Vikings, Packers, Bengals, and Chargers. So as long as the Steelers are doing better than those 4 teams, they're outperforming the competition. I thought that was quite an interesting takeaway. Vikings, Packers, Bengals, Chargers.
That is an interesting takeaway, especially NFC, Vikings, Packers, kind of similar teams that you always have in the Super Bowl mix. Never seem to quite get there in the last decade. Yeah,
playing Packers week 1, obviously.
It's a good group of.
Wait, no, playing the Jets week 1.
Yeah, we're playing the Jets week.
You know why I made that
wrong
mistake.
former Rodgers team.
You're right, and also Vikings week 4. That one I am right about.
That one you definitely are right about. We're not forgetting that one. But I think that's a good group of teams to be kind of bundled in with, and we'll see if we're proven right as the season comes along.
Last week, I remember we came onto this show, Mark. Last thing before we get onto our QATDTC. You mentioned you were on the Bills podcast. Has that come out yet?
That has not come out yet. No,
it's still. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for the Bills podcast.
We might get our podcast back before. I'm guessing they have a schedule of some sort. They had, a Saints one that they did. I think they were kind of recording a bunch in advance,
get them in the bag.
So
all right.
But shouldn't lose anything. Very quickly before we start as well, do we want to talk about Quinshon Judkins? Because there's no Steelers news, but boy, is there Browns news.
Yeah, I haven't looked into the details of this. I saw the arrest warrant. Obviously, he was arrested for domestic battery, I think. Yeah,
that's about as much as I've seen into it as well. But
this was the Browns. What was it? Was this the
second round?
Second round pick. Oh boy, he's not getting his fully guaranteed contract.
Well, actually, that's another interesting point. Have you seen this whole thing about the second round picks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, only 2 of them have actually signed so far, and obviously the Steelers didn't have one, so all of our guys are signed, so we're fine. But yeah, like 30 of 32 second round picks still haven't signed because of some contract issues.
The Texans have agreed to fully guarantee theirs was the receiver. I can't remember his name.
Was it Higgins? Yeah, Jane Higgins.
Higgins, that's it. Yeah, and they've fully guaranteed his second round contract, and that's the first fully guaranteed second round contract ever. So is this like some kind of ploy from agents around the league to kind of say, right, let's make this year the year we push for all of our second round picks to be fully guaranteed?
It's definitely a movement, isn't it? And it's a problem because they're not renegotiating the CBA until 2031, I think. So this is something that's gonna rear its head every year, I think.
Yeah,
because what's happened with Shamar Stewart as well?
He's gone back to college. I mean, not into as in gone back to college, as in like he's literally gone back to college to train. He's left the facility and he's not
so apparently he hasn't trained with other teammates. He has just gone back, and somebody was saying that's a common practice of some players, but it's still like it's a bit weird. And like this whole, it's very confusing what actually happens if he does sit out, because apparently like he would have to go back into the draft, but only the Bengals can take him, I've seen, or something like that. It's very weird. It's like he's almost jeopardizing his entire career.
I quite like that. It's like Groundhog Day again. The Bengals are drafting Shamar Stewart.
Wait, so only they can draft him, so they can take him in like the 7th round.
So I honestly don't know how it works, because I just assumed he was free reign, and that's why I thought it would be funny if the Bengals forgot that they drafted him and just got him again. But yeah, then I saw something. I think it was Rob Ferguson, actually, funnily enough, who was saying, I think only the Bengals can take him, or something like that.
It would make sense, because in baseball, didn't whoever it was, the I can't remember who it was. Was it the Mavericks or someone? No, that's basketball. Show my whoever it was drafted Russell Wilson still had ownership over him for a long time, didn't they?
Oh,
and
yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah.
So I don't know if it works like that.
Maybe yeah. But yeah, I don't think he can even play next year. I think I've seen something like that. Like he couldn't rejoin the Aggies or something like that. It's all very murky.
This all started on draft night, didn't it? With his reaction to Did he think he was going to be number one overall? I mean, I think I said before, I like someone that believes in themselves, but come on, you've got to be slightly more grounded. Like you've got to accept reality. Sometimes, the facts on the ground don't match your opinion, and you have to change your opinion. Like you were, what was he, the 18th pick or something like that? That's still pretty good, man. Like, just get on with it. What's your problem?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's some personal blood already between. I don't know how you resolve this because it's such a bad start. Imagine just being in the locker room.
It's just, I don't know how.
It's so awkward.
Yeah, I don't know if you never know what goes on behind the scenes with these things, and maybe he's talked to people and it's really fine. It's just he needs to iron out ultimately, I do think he will sign in the end. It's just been such a palaver and such a drama.
If he doesn't play, can we firmly put that the Steelers are better than the Bengals or no?
I already did, so
I don't even know if that's what's moving the needle or not, but
the edge rush is not moving the needle.
It's not looking
good.
Yeah.
The defense was already a problem.
That's
already,
true.
Yeah, already got one pissed off guy there in your superstar, and now this. Oh God,
that's it more than anything. It's just not a good vibe, is it, for the start of the season? I mean,
no.
we're not even in August yet, and we've already got the second round pick of one of our division rivals arrested for domestic battery. The other one, the first round pick of another, won't even show up.
Yeah, one of the Ravens draft picks has just been put on the non-football injury list as well. One of their kind of mid-round picks. So it's probably not going to affect them, but still.
Big main character energy coming off the AFC North this off-season.
Yeah. And that lies into the Week 8 matchup with the Packers. Just a little correction there, not Week 1. Week 8, which is Sunday night game, and it's actually the clock's going back game, so it's an 8:20 kickoff in the UK, and Steelers will be wearing throwback uniforms.
Which we'll find out soon, I think.
Yeah, we're going to see those soon.
This week, I think, maybe, potentially.
And for that game, the Steelers will be coming off a mini bye as well after Thursday Night Football.
Take that.
So we're hoping, against these teams that we think the Steelers need to be better than to do good, they might have a good chance.
God, that's all set up, isn't it? So you've got, throwback uniforms, mini bye, Rodgers against his old team, under the bright lights. It's going to go horribly wrong, isn't it? It's Acrisure as well, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, Acrisure,
yeah. Yeah, it's going to go horribly wrong. Somehow,
you think?
Some way.
You have little faith, I'm confident.
Oh, yeah, ever the pessimist, but We'll see.
Well, let's see about some answers that need... Wait, I've already forgotten.
Answers that need questions?
Answers that need questions? That could be a new the way we do this next year.
A new approach of it, yeah.
Answers that need questions in training camp.
Yes.
We'll need a new abbreviation. All right, so I think the way that we're going to do this is that you two guys have both got 5. I don't know if they're all different or there might be some crossover, but you've got 5 each. QATDCCCs. I'm going to need a reminder on that abbreviation, Matt.
QTNA DTC.
QTNA DTCs.
Questions that need answers during training camp.
So do you want to go back and forth on these and we can just kind of hit them with a kind of a nice rounded discussion?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how many myself and Gav have the same, if we have any, but...
Yeah. I had a couple that I thought of, just intellect, but I'm sure they'll be on your list, so I'm not even going to bother interjecting myself. We'll just see what they come up with, and if there's
if by the end of the list you don't hear it, jump in.
And I think we're going to try and have yes or no answers this year.
Yes or no answers, right? Okay.
So we don't have to come. We can have the chat first, and then we can decide yes or no, and we'll record those for posterity.
Another thing for posterity.
Yeah, we like posterity. We like posteriors on this podcast.
The UK Steelers posterity.
We like posteriors. We cannot lie.
All right.
Bigger the better.
All right. Yeah. I like posteriors of all sizes and shapes. Don't cut that. All right, let's start with who wants to go first. Who wants to throw out a quick QATDTC?
Okay.
I'll go for it. If you don't mind, Mark.
No, go for it.
Question: will Aaron Rodgers have chemistry with a wide receiver? So you're thinking Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, both were locked on number one targets for Aaron Rodgers. 2020, take you back to the COVID year, Devontae Adams was targeted 149 times. In 2014, Nelson had 151 targets, which is insane. But Randall Cobb had 127 targets that same year. Just nuts passing offense back in 2014. But we've seen that also Rodgers can spread it around. Like after Adams left Green Bay, he didn't really have a number one. So he kind of elevated Alan Lazard, but it wasn't in the same way. It was just like Alan Lazard went from a wide receiver 4 to potentially wide receiver 1, but he spread the ball around. So he can spread it around. But do we think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have chemistry with a wide receiver? Will it be DK? Will it be someone else? That's my question.
And do you have like when you say that question, do you have an idea of who you think it will be specifically?
I think it probably will be DK, wouldn't it? That would be the most obvious. He's the most in that mold of Devontae Adams, isn't he? I mean, he's that alpha dog. So you're kind of thinking, is he going to develop a relationship with him? That's what I'm hoping happens.
Because I was trying to think about this. I was like, who is Aaron Rodgers tended to, have rapport? Not only because the thing is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, not only does he build rapport with certain guys, but he has a cabal, a haram of wide receivers, if you will, over the years. Your Randall Cobbs, your Alan Lazards, your obviously Devontae Adams. Who on the roster do you think fits some kind of mold that Aaron Rodgers might appreciate? Because I don't think it's necessarily always about... Because I think, DK Metcalf is kind of, I think, in like a hyper-premium rich man's version of an Alan Lazard mold. But is it so much about that? Or is it more about, does Aaron Rodgers kind of just like a dude?
I think it's completely about, does Aaron Rodgers trust a dude? So
okay.
I think replace like with trust.
Trust.
I think it's, he's going to want to not look, and he wants a guy to be exactly where he expects him. So if you're that precise route runner and you're exactly where Aaron Rodgers expects you to be, because you might be his fourth read, but as long as you're there, then he'll throw you the ball. So that's why I think that Pickens was traded, because he was a freelancer and completely unpredictable. So never was going to work with Rodgers and was going to get sidelined, and his value would drop. So might as well maximize him now and maximize his value and get the trade capital back. But what do we think? Who are the precise route runners on this team?
Well, a name that you've thrown out before, and then I'll see if Mark has any ideas. But a name I know you've thrown out is Robert Woods, right? You kind of think that he might be a slot guy that could come in and be very predictable for Rodgers and be a bit of a trusted safety blanket for him as an older veteran in the slot. I don't know that I agree. I don't think he's going to be heavily used in the offense. We shall see.
I don't agree. I don't think I agree with that either. I think if you've got safety blankets, then that's where your tight ends lie. I think that's where your Johnny Smiths and your Pat Fryers potentially lie. Whether that's going to be a Bobby Woods, I don't know. But then again, he does kind of like those veterans. He likes it's those guys who, he can kind of trust, know what they're doing. But in terms of the other clear route runners. Who is there really? We don't really know what Roman Wilson is, and
he's
might be the X factor of this, because his route runner was really really good in college. So if he can come on good and get a good rapport, he might be the guy that Rodgers wants to get out there and have a good rapport with. The Rodgers Austin thing is a bit. I don't know whether they will gel properly. I've got a bad feeling about it for Calvin Austin.
Yeah, I hear you, because I can't think of a Calvin Austin type receiver that Aaron Rodgers has ever gelled with. Maybe there is that I can't think. I'm trying to,
to go back a fair bit, potentially.
Calvin Austin is kind of, he's not a common archetype, is he?
No,
because which makes him interesting. He's a small, speedy, but kind of also a deep threat. Could you say he's a little bit like a very, very poor man's Tyreek Hill? Could you say that?
I suppose in skill, I guess. Yeah, in skills. That's what you're going for. That's like the ultra high end. I think the problem with Tyreek Hill is he's so unique because of the speed element and the acceleration that almost no one else has or had.
Yeah.
But
I guess if Tyreek wasn't quite as physical as he was, you'd have Calvin Austin, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know how precise. But also Tyreek's very precise. I don't know how precise Calvin is.
And he is fast, but he's also not. I don't think he's got that acceleration the level that Tyreek does, where he can just glide away from guys.
Oh, no one does. I mean, that's what makes
Tyreek
so
makes
special.
him unique. And we saw it happen when he can get a foot on a guy and he can cut away. And you saw it a few times with a few of those deep balls from Russ. But as you said, that's not necessarily going to be Aaron Rodgers' game. That's why
I think Robert Woods is primed for being a very sort of underwhelming but productive wide receiver too, because you look at this roster and there isn't. I mean, Scotty Miller, I'm not sure he is. Who else is there that's that route runner? Or are we just going to see DK absolutely peppered with like 149 targets like Devonta Adams was?
That could be the possibility. Mixed in with the litany of tight ends that we've got.
Well, let me ask you this: will a tight end be the second leading receiver on this team?
Well, that's an interesting question that we could come back to. So is that your question?
Oh no, that was an expansion of this question.
I'm not sure if you can have a tight end as a leading receiver. If that's the case, then
not leading.
I guess the Chiefs with Kelsey was that?
Yeah, I think actually probably when Tyreek Hill left, he probably was the leading receiver for a while. I'm not sure about that.
Tony Gonzalez not before as well. Have the Chiefs not?
But I'm suggesting that we would have presumably DK Metcalf as the leading receiver, and I'm saying what's the likelihood that either a Freiermuth or a Jonnu Smith are the second leading receiver on this team when all said and done this year? I think it might be quite high.
Yeah, it might be Jonnu Smith. I don't think it'll be Muth.
I agree that I would predict Jonnu Smith
because he is pretty good on the old timing routes. That's something he's pretty good at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
sorry, I'm straying away from the original question. We're talking about wide receivers. I'm just looking at the other net. Obviously, we've spoken about Roman Wilson a lot this offseason. We're still kind of waiting to see what we could expect out of him. Did we ever speak about that photo that they took where Roman Wilson looked?
Oh, what in comparison to what was last year, where he was like this shiny new rookie and he was happy and he's like, and then he shaved all the hair off, mean demeanor, just looks like he's gonna kill you, sort of thing.
He looks like someone's just deleted his Spotify account.
Is that what you're embodying right now? Flip flops and a mean face.
I'm embodying Roman Wilson with Aaron Rodgers.
Shaved all his hair off. He's Stanley's 2025.
But that's not really the question. The question isn't who. The question is will. Yeah. Will Rodgers have chemistry with a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Will Rodgers have chemistry with a wide receiver that isn't DK Metcalf? That
isn't the question. That's
isn't
not
the question. No. Well, I would then say yes,
good.
Because I do think that Rodgers and Metcalf will have a nice chemistry together. I think they'll build a bond. I think they already are, and I think they'll take that into Latrobe and just grow with it. So I've got all the confidence in the world that they can build a chemistry together. If you're asking me about anybody else on this team, I'm not so sure.
It was including DK.
Yeah, including DK, then yes, I'm a yes on that.
I don't know if devil's advocate is even the right term for this, because I think I actually might believe it. But, I guess if we're saying no to this, then we're saying that Aaron Rodgers is just not really building much chemistry in this offense at all. And that all these disparate pieces that we're kind of trying to gel together here in a new scheme, it's kind of not come together and it's not worked, right? If we're saying no, you know?
As I said in my setup, though, there were times in Green Bay where he didn't just feed one guy and he did spread the ball about. So it's not necessarily a no to this isn't necessarily that the offense fails. It's just it's going to be slightly different.
I guess in my mind, the way I'm picturing a situation here where the answer is no is that there's going to be a lot of frustration on the team. There's going to be just a lot of Aaron Rodgers getting frustrated at people not quite being on time. A lot of new pieces that haven't been in this offense before.
Arthur Smith,
and then we saw it happen last year, right? I mean, all it takes is a bit of frustration, a few games that you should have won, lost. Fingers start getting pointed, and as much as everybody wants this to be, a great sunset season for Aaron Rodgers and everyone involved, it's not necessarily that simple, right? If Arthur Smith starts pissing Aaron Rodgers off because he doesn't like the plays he's called, and Aaron Rodgers decides he's going to go off and do his own thing, and it doesn't work, and the fingers are going to get pointed in the media. It's going to happen. I just worry that I really hope we don't look back, 6 months from now and say, wow, weren't we so naive that we fell into the trap, that exactly what the Jets thought 2 years ago, that this is going to be, it's going to go swimmingly. It can't possibly go worse when we've got a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I agree, the logic is there, right? But it's just, can all these pieces gel together in a cohesive way that are gonna get on in the locker room? I don't know.
It's going to be a slog if it's all nothing's working, nothing's on time.
That's my fear.
Be a real slog.
That's my fear, and when does the plug get pulled in that scenario? Oh God, let's not even think about that. Let's be positive. I say yes, DK Metcalf.
I say yes too. So that's 3 yeses. So that's something to be positive about. Fine, good. Okay, question 2, Mark.
Well, I had an Aaron Rodgers kind of a question of my own, but this is a little bit different. Will Aaron Rodgers do the whole Latrobe experience? Will he stay in the dorms? Will he, interact with the team the way that they do at Latrobe? This is what, 3 weeks is it at Latrobe that they're at? Maybe he does it for a bit, but will he do the whole Latrobe experience? I am curious because of the character that he is. The weird thing about it is I don't know if the Latrobe experience is something that's super Aaron Rodgers-y or is completely not what Aaron Rodgers would do. You could imagine him just getting like a dorm that's got no lights in the top floor corner where he can just meditate his little heart away, and he's absolutely fine. And he's away from it all, and it feels very Aaron Rodgers-y in that way. But at the same time, it's the, being away from his comfort zone, and he's a 41-year-old man who may or may not be married. We don't exactly know, and maybe that's not something that he wants to be doing.
Is that one of the questions that need an answer in training camp, whether or not Aaron Rodgers is married?
Maybe that is as well. Yeah, that could be that could be one of the ones. But I just think this is a guy who is coming into this team with potential, character concerns, as it were. So,
character questions.
Character questions. Yes, that's a better way of putting it, definitely. And so, are those questions going to be heightened by, if he doesn't do the full Latrobe experience? So, do you think that he will get on board with this?
I think yes. I think he will. From it's a guy that wants to go into darkness retreats and taking ayahuasca and stuff is a guy that wants to commit to experiencing life. And I think he will quite enjoy going to a monastery or, whatever that place is.
College, isn't it? Yeah, some
college. Yeah, but it's got like chapels and things.
Yeah, it's a saint. Yeah.
I think he will throw himself into it with gusto. So I'm going to say yes.
Maybe he's the guy who's too overbearing, who enjoys it too much, and it just puts everybody else off.
Takes a vow of silence and no one can speak to him.
Just ruins game night. They just constantly have their game nights there, don't they? And he just spoils.
Quick question: what piece does Aaron Rodgers reach for in the Monopoly board?
Ooh,
top hat.
Feels too classy.
He feels like a classic boot to me.
No, that's too working class.
But that's what he's trying to put. That's what he's trying to put across. You see, that's why he's going for the boot.
It wouldn't be the thimble because that doesn't fit his vibe.
No, definitely not dog. Definitely not dog. Battleship.
He likes dogs. That's a good one, actually.
Right on a postcard. Which
that's a I'm gonna have to think about that. That's a really.
Was Aaron Rodgers? Maybe we'll come back to that.
That's a good question.
Okay. I agree with what you were saying, Mark, in that it does feel like one of these things that could go either way with Aaron Rodgers. I think back to like the Hard Knock season with the Jets, and it did seem like he was very. I know obviously they don't do anything like Latrobe necessarily, but he was very keen to be seen at that training. You know what I mean? Seen to be like a key member of that training camp, and so I would be shocked if it was anything different here. However, the only thing I'm not sure on is whether or not he'll look to be given some kind of special treatment when it comes to, like you say, the dorm, living in the dorms and staying there full. I don't necessarily know about that because I know that Ben didn't always do that stuff either. Especially obviously in the later years. So I'm not sure. I could see maybe a little bit 1 foot in, 1 foot out situation. And to be honest,
it's not becoming for the officers and the generals to see with the enlisted men, is it? It's, he's got to have maybe a corner room, close to where Tomlin is, whatever. I think it's going to be that kind of scenario, and I think that's to be expected.
It does just feel kind of weird if Aaron Rodgers is like bunked up with JJ Galbraith,
I was going to say, did Russ do it last year? I mean, he was injured as well, wasn't he, part of it? So I don't know. Did he do the full?
He was just standing around.
Yeah.
Pulling that face that he does.
Just
But I'm not sure if he slept in the dorms.
Texting Ciara every night, like, miss you, babe.
Okay, waiting for an answer off either of you.
I'm going to say I'm leaning yes, at least in terms of the spirit of it. Whether or not he, does everything by the book, I don't know. But
I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go with the idea that Aaron Rodgers actually really digs this, and I'm going to go with the way you kind of pitched it, Gav. I'm on board with it.
I think the thing is with Aaron Rodgers is he always does the right thing. Is the thing, right? Like he knows what the right thing to do is. What Aaron Rodgers struggles to do is not convey his disdain for doing it. Right? Like it's like he always knows the right steps to take, but then he rubs people up the wrong way in doing them. I think is the problem. I don't think he's ever not
fully
willing.
Committed.
Yeah,
he's not a company man. That's the thing. He's not committed to things that aren't favourable for Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And I kind of respect that in some way.
Yeah.
He's not a sellout, is he? He's never sold out, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it depends. Depends what your definition of sellout is and what he's selling out to.
I'd say Russell Wilson's more of a sellout than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Again, in what ways? Just Russell Wilson selling out to Subway. Aaron Rodgers is selling out to right-wing conspiracy theories. Depends which way you want to look at it. I don't know.
Okay, well, fine. Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers also sold out to State Farm for a long time.
Right, that's true.
But even those were kind of you could tell he didn't want to be there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was kind of enjoyable seeing him act. It was quite fun.
What makes Aaron Rodgers interesting is that there is a little something with Aaron Rodgers that even if you aren't like an Aaron Rodgers enjoyer, there is just a little modicum of him that I think we can all recognise as being just a little bit anti-establishment, a little bit like different thinking. And I think
disruptive. He's a bit of a disruptor.
And I think we can all appreciate that. And I think at times, unfortunately, that has gotten mistaken and mixed up with some troublesome elements, shall we say. But
Do you think he's clamouring for the Epstein list to be released?
Oh, I bet he'd love the Epstein list to be released.
The non-existent Epstein release.
No. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is on the Epstein list.
Oh, I don't think there is a list.
I do think some leaders of the free world are on the list, though.
Okay, you think there is a list still? All right, well we'll see.
Interesting.
That's a question that needs to be answered by training.
Careful, Gav. You don't want to end up sounding like Stephen King and sounding dead weird about it. So
there's an entire minute missing from that video, right? What's going on with that?
Well, we'll see.
It's 3 minutes. They've said.
Let's not go down this one.
Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you one person who was on the Epstein list: the CEO of Spotify.
He's DJing at the party.
Co-owner of Arsenal, wouldn't he? But, yeah.
So that's 3 yeses across the board. All right, we need some questions that divide us a bit more. All right. So I'll come on to my second question, but really it's kind of a two-parter. So this is 2 questions in one, but it was one question and it just ballooned to be so big that I ended up making it into 2. So bear with me. So sorry, Mark, you'll get 2 on the bounce after this.
Well, that's good because I've got a kind of a 2-part, so I can follow that up.
Great. Perfect. So part 1 is, and this sort of leads on from your sort of what you were saying a minute ago, Si. Will Jonnu Smith win tight end 1 job?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And what I'm saying here, right, he's only been a tight end 1 for a couple of years in his whole career. So there was a period 2018 to 2020 after Delaney Walker got injured and he kind of stepped up. And then again, last year in Miami, he played 80% of the snaps in the second half of the season and put up great numbers, 8 touchdowns, 884 yards, 88 receptions, and led all tight ends in yards after catch per reception among those with 50 targets. So an absolute awesome second half of the season. Surprising. I didn't realize it was so good when I was looking at the numbers, and makes you think, why the hell did they let him go? So when you think that Smith's game is built on timing routes, as I said before, yards after catch and mismatch creation, there's a chance here that he really is the tight end that's like got Aaron Rodgers' love eyes looking at him. And when he's on the field consistently, he develops a rhythm, right? Especially in play action heavy schemes like Arthur Smith. So maybe he is going to be tight end 1. And he's also one of the top tight ends in avoided tackles per route since 2022. So only a couple, 2 or 3 years, 2 years. But that only shows up with volume. So when he's been in the backfield with like Henry in New England or Pitts in Atlanta, his impact drops. He like disappears off the map and he becomes inconsequential. So he is a guy that needs volume. So the question is, will he supplant Pat as tight end 1 maybe they commit to 12 personnel, 13 personnel a lot, and that's maybe what question 2 is, part 2 of this question is. But when you think about their type, so what is Smith? Smith is used in motion. He's a slot tight end, and he's a halfback tight end. Works in play action, works in misdirection, as I said. Freiermuth, bit more in line. Yes, he is a receiving tight end, but he's definitely more of a blocker. So will we see, I mean, he's progressed as a blocker to the point where, could you see Freiermuth as more of the blocking, leaky tight end, if you know what I mean, where he's doing a little block or a chip and then leaks out and sits down and he's there available for the quarterback.
Bit what Darnell's or sort of doing, yeah.
So you can have 3 tight ends, or you could kind of rotate your tight ends. So you've got Smith as your receiving tight end, Freiermuth is your kind of hybrid tight end, and then Darnell is your 6th lineman. Looking at last season, Smith played 75 to 81% of the snaps on average, and Freiermuth hovered around 68%. So Smith was seeing more of the field last year than Freiermuth was. So when you look at that, I'm starting to think. I'm really starting to think maybe for 1 or 2 years, Jonnu Smith will win that tight end 1 job. What do you guys think?
It's a very, very compelling argument for it, and I could absolutely see a world where it happens. My one pushback on it is just remembering what Ben was like in his last year when Muth was a rookie, and how much Ben loved Muth as, that kind of security blanket that he had there, and just how much he enjoyed. I genuinely feel like with a veteran quarterback, Muth can absolutely thrive in that, and I do think, kind of going back to will Rodgers get a connection with anybody, I have very strong thoughts about him and Muth being the kind of connection that we see there. He went to Malibu as well, and hopefully, there's some sort of bond that's been put there. But just the way that Ben kind of was glowing about Muth in that early time, it was a strong rookie year, and a couple of years have passed since, and we've not seen the productivity out of Muth. But maybe this is as good for Muth as it is for the quarterback. So I'm really, really intrigued to see that. But you were absolutely spot on with all you were saying about Jonnu Smith, and absolutely you can see a world where that happens. I don't know whether I'm just maybe still rooting for Muth to be the guy, and to have the major productive year. I mean, it's a great headache to have if these two are fit and fighting for tight end 1, and they're both doing great things around Rodgers. Then that only helps us. I'm going to push back and say no on this. I think the Rodgers-Muth connection will shine through. I do think Jonnu Smith will be a tremendous tight end too, but I just think they might edge it over to Muth, particularly if they have such a very strong training camp here in Latrobe.
All right.
I think this is a fascinating question.
Because
the more I've thought about it as you two guys have spoke, because at the first blush when you said it, Gav, I thought, I actually think yes, because as you follow, it's almost like you follow not just the money, but you follow the, because obviously, we saw Pat Freiermuth get paid heftily before last offseason, but follow kind of the intent of this offseason after what happened last year, right? And we saw how proactive the Steelers were in really wanting to include Jonnu Smith. Even before we heard about the Jalen Ramsey Minka Fitzpatrick deal, there was leaks about, wanting Jonnu Smith to come onto this team. And I think you can see why. And as you explained it there, Mark, that really triggered something in my brain where it's like, wow, yeah, if you could unlock what Pat Freiermuth does well and sort of set him out to do that job consistently with Aaron Rodgers in the backfield, and you've got someone in there who's doing the dirty work in a Jonnu Smith who can do a little bit of everything, as Gav said, who's a little bit more dynamic as a traditional tight end, as opposed to, as we say, what Pat Freiermuth's skill set is.
Hang on, wait. I think Smith's more of a dynamic receiver than Muth.
You think?
So, yeah, I do.
So yes, but what I'm saying is that I think. Wait, I suppose that the meaning of the word dynamic is where we're getting caught up here, because I think Pat Freiermuth is a more interesting option, like to run sort of play a Travis Kelce role, right? Run median routes, run middle of the field, run crosses, run up the seam. That he's a bit more mobile. He's a bit more kind of,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say Smith's a better route runner. I'd say Muth is a better sort of Y route runner, especially in zone. I think he eats off zone, finding soft little holes in the defense. I think Smith's a more accomplished receiver as a technician. That's why I think.
Yeah, as a technician and a route runner, fine, I can get on board with that. I don't, but I think Fryermuth still has like more upside untapped potentially, right? Like he's a smoother mover. I think he could make bigger plays, frankly. I hear what you said, and that's kind of why I'm struggling with it, because I think Jonnu Smith might play a more fundamentally important role, but I think there's like potential there, as Mark says, that Pat Fryermuth could, swing the gates open a little bit here with a connection with Aaron Rodgers, and we sort of suddenly go, whoa, Pat Fryermuth actually is the wide receiver 2 of this team.
To be a fancier here, could they just be a 1A and 1B?
Right, and I think that
could
might be
ultimately what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you down for no, Simon. Is that right?
I just struggle with this because I really don't know what constitutes tight end 1 in this.
Right. So this is part 2 of the question.
Okay.
So do you want to push that? And because I'm going to say yes, I think Jonnu Smith becomes tight end 1.
See, I'm tempted to say yes because I feel like his importance and involvement in the offense is going to be primary. I think he's going to be on the field more, theoretically. Like, just it might not be by a lot because I think we're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets, but I think you're probably going to see Jonnu Smith as like a fundamental element a lot of the time.
So do you want to record a yes or a no, and then we'll move on to part 2?
He's trying to push me, but I feel like I need more info.
Okay, more info. Well, okay, you can answer both at the same time.
All
so
right,
part
I'll push.
2.
Yeah.
I think this will be a shorter little setup and a shorter answer. Will Steelers play with multiple tight ends more than half the snaps this year? And is therefore base offense, right? So last year, 2024, they played multiple tight ends, 43.6. So almost there. They were highest in the league, right? This is an Arthur Smith, obviously.
Yeah.
They were... That's up from 18% in 2023. So huge jump. 18% of snaps was more than 3 tight ends. Sorry, yeah, including Connor. So, what do you think about that? Do you think we're looking at basically a tight end offense of 13 and 12 personnel, and therefore it doesn't really matter who is tight end 1 because they're going to be on the field equally?
I could definitely see that world. I could definitely especially see it if we don't bring anybody else in at wide receiver. If we stick with the core that we've got here, then I think there's every opportunity that could happen. I think Jonnu Smith's more of that kind of receiving threat than Michael Pruitt was last season. So yeah, I could 100% see that world as well. It feels a bit weird to go no then yes on that, but at the same time, God, yeah. If this Steelers offense doesn't change from this point out, absolutely, I could see it go above 50%.
This is the year
really hovering around it. So yeah,
this is the year for it because why would you not do it? If you're going to go full Arthur Smith, you're going to go full Arthur Smith.
Yeah,
I almost wondered,
never go full Arthur Smith.
I wonder what the percentage of 2 tight end sets was in that year when he was head coach in Atlanta.
I can try and find that out.
I wonder. I don't know if that's easy to get or not, but I just feel like this would be the year to go full Arthur Smith. And if we're all, because I know, like you say, we were already nearly at 50% last year. You bring in Jonnu Smith, we know what the wide receiver depth is like. To me, it just feels like we are going to just completely commit to this as the style of play, and teams are going to know it, and we're going to try and do it anyway. So I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say yes to that. And you know what? I'm going to say yes to the Jonnu Smith thing because I think fundamentally he's going to be. I don't know that he's going to be a more exciting player. I don't even know necessarily that he'll have more receiving yards, although I think he probably will. But I think he's going to be like more of a primary focus of the offense through one way or another, if that makes sense.
Okay, so in Arthur Smith were 21 to 23. He was head coach of Atlanta Falcons, most tight end heavy in the NFL, and combined often exceeded 40%. So he's hovering in that 40, 45%.
Yeah, 41.8%, 12% personnel for the Falcons in his in 2023. So,
What would need to happen for that number to sort of tick up all the way above 50%? Would he need to be like running more? I imagine he would need to be running a lot more pass plays out of that formation.
Yeah, he needs to have a more creative playbook.
Yeah,
right? I think he should just fully commit to it. F it, It's like, let's do it. Let's go to that and let's
mix it up.
let's come up with some trick plays and some disguise off of it, but let's just sell it out every time. It's like, the Patriots made it work when they had Hernandez and Gronk. Jesus, that season was insane. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it as it happened, but I'm well aware of it.
Was that slightly before your time? That season was nuts because they drafted both of those tight ends. They both came in and they deployed them. Hernandez was the better one in some ways. He was just so powerful. But yeah, you had Gronk. It was just a crazy, crazy season. So maybe that's what they're going for. Patriots 2013 or whatever.
I saw the recreations of that season on American Crime Story. There's a lot of somewhat poor recreations of American football being played on that show.
It was jaw-dropping. It was. I've never seen anything like it since.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it.
That's kind of like a focus of one of the episodes is when he gets in the NFL and Bill Belichick kind of isn't that into him, and then he kind of realizes what that unlocks is having the two tight ends.
Yeah, and it's a cheat code if you can make it work.
Yeah,
if you can.
And why can't we do that?
Well, that's what the question's going for. Let's get excited about this. This could be fun. This could be hella fun.
But as you say, I do think the one thing holding us back from this utopian future is that Arthur Smith has never, as far as I'm aware, shown this level of creativity to be able to run this many plays out of this formation and still retain some sense of secrecy and surprise. It doesn't feel like teams respect it once you get to that level. And I don't know, does he have the
cojones?
I guess to kind of run some of these more, because functionally, like, what is he going to do? You got two tight ends, you're running, I'm assuming DK Metcalf or someone lined up on the outside. There's not a great deal of passing concepts you can run out of this, right? Outside of just, a few ins, outs, slants from the tight ends and or maybe a crossing route, intercepted between the two. I don't know. He's probably somewhat limited, but I think maybe that's fine. Like, maybe we just deal with it and we just say, like, the tight ends are going to go up and get it.
So I've got, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay. I've got another, I've had some more quick fire questions, which I wanted to fire in. And this is a quick fire one. So no talk about this, just a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Do we think Arthur Smith's playbook has expanded?
Yes.
I'll say yes. I mean, I'm not.
The hell's he doing if it's not?
See, yeah, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would hope.
I'm going to say yes too, and my hope is that he's got more of the players that can do the things that he's hoping to do. Right. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, but don't forget that while he was running those 12 and 13 personnel looks in Atlanta, that Atlanta weren't very good. So let's just remember that while
it's true,
it still wasn't very effective. So.
Cool. All right, Mark, your two pointer.
Well, actually, I'll come to my 2-pointer in a sec because I've kind of got a question that kind of works nicely off the back of this tight end talk. Will we see any sort of adjusted role for Connor Hayward to go into the season?
Yes, practice squad scout.
This is the thing, yeah. It's going to be a struggle for it. Yeah, I've kind of gone a la Kendrick Green running fullback at that point, but I don't think that's kind of like the scenario we got here. But this is the thing with it now. So you've got these three solid tight ends in Muth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington that are going to dominate this offense. So what is the role for Connor Hayward here? Is it reduced to special teams, or is there something else that he is able to do? Because he's still listed as a tight end, but he is kind of listed as a fullback as well. Is there going to be any sort of adjusted role for Connor Hayward in training camp, as we see it, that is going to allow him to shine and get through in this 53-man roster? Because, there's only a certain amount of time he can roll as Cam's brother before stuff catches up to him. But I also think he has he can provide you something. He's not unbelievable by any means, but remember, he was a 7th round pick, and for a 7th round pick, he's done some pretty nice things for this team.
How locked into special teams is Connor Hayward? Like, how many snaps is he getting on special teams throughout last season? I wonder, because I do think at this point he's probably going to need a word from Danny Smith to make the 53.
Oh.
Because I'm just starting to look around. As you start to think about, like, right, what is the construction of this team going to be when week one? And I'm starting to think like, well, is any other team going to be, scratching around to take Connor Hayward off this practice squad if we wanted to just maybe, pop him on there?
Yeah, him and Miles Killebrew were the leaders in special team snaps, 318.
Right, and so in that case, maybe there's a route for him to remain on the roster for that reason.
I think that's the battle, isn't it? He's a real bubble guy. Unfortunately, last year of his contract, this is not not great for him. They can cut him and only pay $40,000 or something. So,
but in terms of, because it's a question that I'd probably say no to. I think they will kind of stick to the guns with it, and he's not a pure tight end. We know that, but like I don't think there'll be any kind of major adjusted role for him in here. But it's just a case. It's just fascinating to know what he can do to keep the rolling. I guess it is just going to be special teams at the end of the day. He could be the next kind of Miles Killebrew in terms of importance in that sort of role. Because we did see some nice special team stuff from Connor Hayward.
I think the real question is, will he make the 53? That's the real quiz.
I think he will.
I'm not sure.
We carried 4 tight ends last year. I think, and with the wide receiver room being what it is still, like, I think there's every chance for him.
I think Si's right. It's pure special teams. It's Danny Smith. Was it Si that said that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. If Danny Smith makes the case, then yes. But otherwise, probably not.
Well, I think it's the way Miles Killebrew keeps his job, really, isn't it? So
I did forget though. I mean, who was it who was injured? Michael Pruitt. Wait, was it? Who was injured? The tight end recently. We've had one injury.
JJ Galbraith.
No, was it?
When are we talking in season? Or
No. Sorry, just recently, just before during OTAs.
For the Steelers.
Yes.
Yes, JJ Galbraith got injured.
Donald Parham.
Oh, and Donald Parham. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Because he went down, I think there's maybe a slight less of a because as you said, we kept 4 tight ends last year. So if we could, maybe, and as you say, with him being one of the more relevant special teams contributors, and let's be honest, Cam Hayward's brother. I think maybe
he's a football player, isn't he? This is the thing. He's Connor F in football. Like he can.
I love Connor Hayward. Yeah, like I love Connor Hayward, and he really is a football player in the most traditional sense that we use that word in the cliche way. But at a certain point, you've got to assess the value to keep a guy on 53.
Yeah,
and he's borderline for me right now. We'll see where we are when we get to the 53-man roster predictions. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think it might depend on if there's any injuries in training camp for him.
Thanks for mentioning that. I'd actually missed the Parham injury. He's been put on reserve, injured reserve. He's done for the year.
That's partly why we got Jonnu in as well.
Yeah.
Because I think if Parham was still around, like you said, I don't know if Jonnu comes in if he is still around, but assuming he does, I think then you're really looking at Connor Hayward on the.
He would be it'd be very tricky waters for him. But I just didn't know if there might be a world where they just kind of adjust him to, as you say, he's a football player, so maybe they can just find another role for him. I'm going to say no on that.
Put him at free safety.
Yeah, God knows we need. Yeah, just put him at nickel. Fine, just do it. But I'd imagine you'd probably. Would you say no as well to? Do you think they'll adjust his role at all, or do you think they'll just roll as they?
Yeah, well, I think the role will be more or less the same. Yeah, in that sense. I will say this: a quick yes or no, just yes or no. Oh well, I suppose there is no yes or no. The answer is either Connor or Cameron. Who takes the last NFL snap?
Ooh.
Connor Hayward.
Who
or Cameron Hayward?
Yeah. Oh, who takes their snap last?
Yeah, who takes the last NFL snap of those two?
Connor
Hayward.
I think Connor can.
He sticks around after
roles. Yeah, I think there's teams that would die for a Connor Hayward type especially in their special teams. Yeah,
not on special teams. Are we talking offense, defense, or?
I kind of just meant it as any snap. So yeah.
All right, I'll say Cam. I'll say Connor.
You'll say Connor still. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just in my head I was kind of like envisioning a world there where Cam maybe decides to play 2 more years and Connor just sticks around to the end of his contract, then nobody else signs him, and I was like, maybe Cam Hayward plays a year longer than his brother.
That would be rough. Yeah, I think he's too good for that.
Yeah.
But not good enough to. Yeah,
you're right. I think he probably could find his way onto another roster for sure, even if he didn't, make it on this one, even if it wasn't immediately.
All right. So, Mark, shall I do mine and then you come back for your double team?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right, I'm just going to switch to defense now. And it's a little bit of a quicker setup, but will Terrell Austin be able to scheme less double teams for TJ and therefore TJ have more splash plays? That's the question. Because obviously sack production from TJ dipped last season, despite having Cam return to form in terms of interior pressure, which is you'd think that TJ would thrive when Cam was doing well, but no, it was a bad season for TJ in terms of splash play. So will Terrell be able to scheme more for TJ?
I don't know if I can trust Terrell Austin at this point. Like, I'm really unsure as to what is going to happen with this defense under Terrell Austin. Like, I get so ultimately frustrated, and it then comes back to who's actually running the defense on this team, and it all gets murky in that sense. But I mean, this is the problem. Will that get answered in training camp? Because will TJ Watt even be at training camp at this point? We still don't know.
Yeah, hang on a minute. That's a good point. These are questions that need answers in training camp.
Yeah, but obviously, if TJ's at training camp, then maybe we can start getting some work done on that. Otherwise, it's can Terrell Austin scheme for Alex Highsmith not to get double teamed? I don't know as if I trust Terrell Austin enough. This is the problem. I just don't think he's a very good coordinator. And again, it's all the murky questions that people ask around that. But at the end of the day, that he is the defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Matt, let me ask you this, because I think the way we've been speaking about offense in the last sort of 20 minutes, whether or not we think it's going to work, what we can see is that there's like a plan here to shift further in towards what Arthur Smith wants to do and the offense he wants to run. Like, do you see that on defense? Because I'm looking on defense and I'm seeing the moves we've made, and obviously the secondary looks very different after the trade and whatnot. But just on Gav's question, like I don't know that I trust Terrell Austin inherently. We heard what the Ravens were saying about the Steelers' defensive scheme in the playoffs. That's well hashed out by this point. What are we seeing from the Steelers' approach this offseason that suggests that we're going to see major changes? Because, I mean, there has to be, right? Surely. I mean, they cannot possibly roll out another season of this defense, as talented as it is, and be taking flack from opposing teams saying, like, we already know what you're going to do before you do it. That's a look that cannot be repeated.
No, exactly.
So there must be something. So, but is that
okay?
Yeah.
So this might have been a two-parter again.
Okay.
I've got my next question was: will the Steelers be as conservative on defense in 25 as they were on 24? So we can talk about both these questions at the same time. In 24, very conservative approach in terms of blitzing. I think Terrell Austin went for a coverage over aggression approach. But is that where the league is going? I mean, we've seen Fangio's defenses, these shell, flood the secondary with 6 dudes and, hurry the quarterback, don't get to him. Can we have that again? Last year they were 17th in pressure rate, 22nd in blitz rate. They were blitzing at 25.9%. Compare that to Blitzburg. Remember those days, 2018? They were blitzing 44.1%. That's like almost half of the plays they were blitzing on. They were 29th in hurry rate. So they just weren't getting after the quarterback. So it kind of does tie into TJ. And, they weren't putting those guys in a position to succeed. They were more concerned about keeping a shell on things. But it worked. They were 9th in completions allowed. And, Terrell Austin used stunts more than blitzes. Maybe that's what it should be called. What cam twist, which was effective, right? And the Herbig and Benton on the delayed loops and the spacing on the front, which was all adjusted to, create time up front for the secondary to try and make plays. Unfortunately, the secondary didn't make plays. They just kind of kept a lid on things, maybe with what they've got with Ramsey now, maybe this approach will work. So should they stick to that approach or should they go back to the Blitzburg approach? So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, are both those things connected?
The thing is, Blitzburg is, it's very entertaining and it's very exciting. Again, do I trust Terrell Austin to run any? This is the problem. Do I trust Terrell Austin to run any sort of defense? This is probably my biggest bugbear.
9th in completions allowed.
It's good.
Isn't bad.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. But is that more a product of the personnel? I don't know. Maybe I dog on Terrell Austin too much. I'm not entirely sure, but. Ultimately, with your first part of your question, I'm going to say no. Because I just don't trust him to do that. I think if there's going to be any sort of downfall of this Steelers defense, it's going to lie at the feet of the coordinator.
I know we all like to be nice and stuff, but in fairness to you, Mark, I don't know if we've dogged Terrell Austin enough, to be honest. I mean, I think he gets a lot of cover because Tomlin is who he is, and he's like the defensive mind of the team.
Yeah,
right?
This is the problem, isn't it? It's just, there's so many people out there who think that Terrell Austin's just a pawn, in the game of Tomlin. So
what does he do? That's the thing, right? What does he do? We don't know. How is he doing the same thing that every other defensive coordinator is doing, or is Tomlin? Because we've seen, in the like even in the in-season Hard Knocks, we've seen, Tomlin managing the defensive game plan.
But that shows you, right? 2018 they were blitzing like crazy, and last year they won. So that must be influence. Either Tomlin's changed what he's doing, or it's Terrell Austin versus, Dick LeBeau or whoever else.
Yeah. The way to figure that out: get a new defensive coordinator.
I do struggle with the blitz rate. I don't know because even with the personnel last season, I don't really know what we're thinking. I mean, we actually turned up quite a lot of interceptions last season, right? Like plays were made on the ball, but equally there was a lot of whiffs, a lot of communication errors, a lot of coverage busts. A lot of guys streaking open. And I'm looking at the change we've made this year, bringing in Jalen Ramsey, a Darius Slay, a Juan Thornhill, even a Malik Harrison maybe playing in the middle at times. I don't know that we've done a lot to change that, but I do think we've become even more aggressive.
We've become more aggressive run defense wise, definitely. I
For
think
sure,
we've
absolutely
filled that out very nicely. It's just now it's pass defense.
But I think even in with looking at your corners now, I mean these are guys that are going to want to make plays on the ball,
and they want to press. They're press corners.
Yeah, press corners. Yeah. So in answer to your question, Gav, yes, I think they have looked to get much more aggressive on defense.
So you think so? Will the Steelers be as conservative on defense? No.
Yeah, I think definitely not. But my worry, my concern in that is that this is going to be like somewhat of an overcorrection, right? It's that right. Well, last year, despite my attempts to kind of not be as aggressive, we just caused all these problems. We guys didn't know what they were doing. Let's just do what we were doing before and go all out, and maybe it'll work, or maybe it'll just kind of
he's aggressive.
Maybe it'll just kind of be as equally readable and clear and obvious. I don't know. I just, like you say, I'm not, unfortunately, I wish that I was as scheme versatile as you, Gav, but I don't know what the suggestion is on defense specifically to improve, to improve the visibility of other teams not knowing what we're going to do before we do it. Is it more, decoration? Is it more
disguise?
Disguise, yeah. I don't know, but
yeah, they did do disguise. They tried. They started in too high and rolled one down. There was disguise going on.
But why did the disguise only ever seem to confuse us?
Yeah, it was so predictable. The other team knew what they were doing, and the Steelers didn't know what they were doing, and they were all messed up, and their spacing was all wrong. And yeah. So, Mark, what do you think? Will the Steelers be as conservative on defense in 25?
I think no, ultimately, and I think it's because of some of the other moves that have been made. So, yeah, I'll side with Si on that. I think no for that part of it. But
okay, I'm going to go with yes because I don't think a leopard can change its spots. I think Terrell Austin is naturally conservative. I want to say a word that begins with P, but I'm not going to say it.
Play caller?
A timid defensive coordinator that doesn't want to take risks. So I do think that he is going to be conservative, unfortunately. So back to part one of the question. And does that mean, do we think that he's going to somehow work out a way of getting TJ to make splash plays again? Please, God, come on.
Will he try to? Maybe. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't.
Well, be able was the question.
Yeah, be able. Yeah, I'm going to say no. I just don't. I don't trust him. I really don't.
I really think the best way to get more out of TJ is to deploy your other pass rushers more effectively. right? We need, like you say, we need to see more blitzes out of some of the DBs and the middle linebackers, and we need to see.
Maybe there's a guy with a sound drop associated to him that could potentially do that.
Wow, Jack Sawyer!
Yeah, that guy maybe.
Well, I'm thinking of Nick Herbig, deploying Nick Herbig on a few speed rushes. I think one of the problems we've seen especially last year, was that Alex Highsmith, who I think has just continued to improve in a lot of fundamental areas of his game, I don't think was as effective as a pass rusher last season as he had been in previous years. And I think some of that maybe is just that, like, players know what to expect with him, because he was winning so much with that kind of inside spin move that he was using. I think that kind of got bottled up a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Which is maybe to be expected. So maybe he adds something to the game or whatnot, and he improves there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna. I think it's going to take deploying other players on the team more effectively in order for TJ to get more run at the QB.
So is that a no?
Yes. No. No, it's a yes. Yes. No, it's a yes. Yes, it's a no. Wait, what?
Yes, it's a no.
Yeah. Yes, it's a no.
It's a no. I'm going to be yes. I think he is going to have to. I think his job depends on the owner's going to come down. The owner won't come down and say much, but he'll come down and say a few choice tidbits. And I think one of them will be, we need TJ to make plays.
We need TJ to sign a contract.
Well, yeah, that first, but I think that'll get worked out.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, he's the guy on the front of the cover. All right, maybe not, him sharing the cover of the program with Aaron Rodgers, but we need that guy making plays. All right, whatever it takes. You can work it out, Terrell. Come on, we need that guy showing up.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
Okay.
All
right, whose go is it? Who's got the next one?
It's me.
I think Mark's got about 5 questions with the amount I've asked.
Oh no, I've got 3 here. So yeah, but I'll go to my two-parter, because my two-parter was defensive as well. So will Joey Porter Jr. and I suppose to a lesser extent Corey Trice be joined at the hip with Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey throughout camp, in terms of trying to be a sponge and soak up as much information as they can out of these guys? You would think that it would be the smart option to do. I think especially a guy like Corey Trice will be doing that when you've got 2 veteran presences in there. I guess the kind of thing that you would think about with Joey Porter Jr. is he's now in year 3, and will he be as spongy as he possibly needs to be to kind of understand? It's not so much as understanding the role, just soaking up this veteran knowledge and trying to improve his game, because we saw the penalties last year and we saw some of the issues that he had last year. I still think he has a way to go to be the CB1, and I think he's going to need to look at these guys who have done it in the past and take as much information as they can out of him. So yeah, kind of part 1 was, will we see these guys joined at the hip, the same way kind of Nick Herbig was with TJ Watt in a sense when he first came in? And then I suppose part 2 is, will we see positive results from that? If they do you think that it will be very helpful for them in terms of the knowledge that they gain from the likes of Slay and Ramsey?
I'm going to skew positive on this one and say yes and yes. We were talking earlier this week, I think, about dream blunt rotations. I actually think this current
was that off air or on air? I can't remember.
It was definitely off air, but it's about to be on air. The current cornerback room, just Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Corey Trice, even throw in like Beanie Bishop. You can keep James Pierre. He can watch in the hallway.
James Pierre, biggest passive smoker of all time.
Right. He doesn't want a hit, but he will sit in the room.
Me at uni, circa 2010. Yeah.
I get the impression like they're all sitting around and Beanie Bishop's trying to make an impression with telling jokes and like conspiracy theories and stuff.
Yeah, they're all just listening to Beanie and calling him like Lil Cuz. I think that it would be a great idea for Joey Porter to be stuck to Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey and just get I will say, I mean, Joey Porter's already a very aggressive corner, so maybe actually it's not what he needs. Maybe what he needs is someone to cool him off a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you look at guys, within his realm as like a press corner, I can't think of anyone better really to be showing him the ropes and giving him more. You got to remember he's been here for 2 years. He's by no means a rookie, right? Like, so I think I'm maybe a little bit more positive than some people on Joey Porter. I've seen the problems that he's had, but I also see what he can be. I just think he's got the frame, he's got the physicality. He's maybe not quite the athlete you would love him to be, but I think he's got everything to be like a really high level corner. He just needs to put it together, and I'm going to say yes, that this is the year that he can do it with the help of these two.
This is huge for him, man.
Yeah.
This is massive. What's the biggest problem with Joey Porter?
Overly touchy,
overly grabby, right? Or actually getting caught for being overly grabby.
Right. Not in the Justin Tucker way though.
Not in the Justin Tucker way. On the field, purely on the field. His problem is that he can't hide it, right? So these two dudes. Okay, but these two dudes, Darius Slate and Jalen Ramsey, surely are going to have some tricks up their sleeves, literally, of how to grab a dude without getting flagged for it. So I can't think of two better mentors for him. So I'm going to say yes to both these questions. Absolutely. This can't be slept on at all. Like the impact that having two Hall of Famers in the room, where last year you were cornerback 1, now you're cornerback 3. Like, that's awesome. It's great for him.
I suppose he is. Is he cornerback 3? Maybe he.
In terms of experience,
experience, definitely.
I don't think it's going to come down to that, because I don't think Ramsey's going to end up playing the same role, is he?
No, but I just mean in terms of alpha, beta, gamma in the room. Like, he's got to doff his cap to those dudes.
Well, I suppose then in that sense, will Corey Trice follow the same route? Do you think that Trice will be able to kind of, he's maybe not play at the same level as Porter, but absorb enough information to see more positive results than we saw out of him last year? Because
I think it's going to help him, but I think this is the big thing that's been setting Joey Porter back. He tried to compensate for it last season, and it affected his game, didn't it? He didn't play as well because he was trying to not get flagged. Season before, he played very well, but kept getting flagged. So it was big plays, and then it was getting called back or getting penalties. So I think this will be a happy balance for him. Whereas Corey Trice, he's still getting over the injury, he's still bedding in. I don't think there's such a clear issue for him. So I don't think it's going to help. It's going to help him massively, but I don't think it's going to be so specific. Whereas I think those guys are really going to be the help, JPJ.
Yeah, cool. I completely agree. I don't know what the level of impact it will have on Corey Trice is, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes, that JPJ sees massive improvement.
I definitely say yes to the first part. I'll do a tentative yes on the second part, because I'm still a little bit unsure about JPJ and his CB1. Can he be that guy? Like, I'm still a little bit need to see.
I just think we've seen that he can, right? We've seen that he can. It's just that there's things we understand that are holding him back, but
and they can't hold him back any longer. This is year 3 now. We need to see it. So I'm going to tentatively say yes on the second part, but I'm not going to be as confident as you guys on it.
Yeah, maybe mine's a little bit of hope. Cope.
Because
massive cope.
Yeah, because Jalen Ramsey's a bit of a head case as well. So maybe
do we see any? What we're talking about? While we're talking about corners, do we see any Dante Kent action in training camp?
I think Dante Kent might be the lost man in all of this, because he could well carve out that nickel role himself. Like, he's got good versatility. He's working out with Micah Parsons in the off season. I mean, that's not a terrible person to be working out with, is it? So, like, I think he could well be the lost man here in all of this talk. He stays healthy and he has a good camp. He could definitely carve out a role. I'm, tentative early 53-man roster kind of predictions in my own head. I do have Dante Kent getting a role in there. So I wouldn't sleep on him at this point.
It's just going to be. It's just going to be so tough. Like, looking at the names in that backfield. Sorry, go on, go.
I was going to say a similar point. Like, if I was looking at another team, and it feels like a different team I'm looking at with some of the names here. But if you're looking at another team and you're looking at this cornerback room, you're thinking, yeah, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Is this the strongest cornerback room the Steelers have had since forever? I mean,
on paper.
Yeah, on paper since. I mean, Ike. The Ike years. Name your favorite Brian McFadden or whoever your favorite number 2 cornerback. Is it the best cornerback room since then?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a huge bar.
No, exactly. I think we were saying that not too long ago. I think before Jalen Ramsey was even in the door. Like, I think we were saying that. So, yeah.
There's no Ross Cockrell here.
No.
Was it Joe Hayden and the guy whose name escapes me that was a good number 2?
Oh.
But this feels deeper than that.
I know what you mean, and I was
deep
just trying.
Is the word for it, isn't it? Yeah, that's the thing.
I was trying to bring his.
Who is it? He was He's the second, the best number 2 cornerback.
Yeah, I was literally trying to bring his name to my brain as you were saying.
Oh my god! Listeners, send in your postcards. It might get here sooner.
Not Levi Wallace.
No, was I accused Levi Wallace of being a better cornerback 2. Didn't turn out to be. Than Steve. What's his damn name? Steve Nelson.
Steve Nelson.
Oh, Steve Nelson, yes.
Well done.
Got there in the end.
God, it goes to show, doesn't it, that I think the older I get, the lower the half-life is on my memory. Like, it's just getting shorter and shorter. Like,
yeah, but there's probably reasons for that. Things that are being smoked and so forth. That happens.
Wow, that was a very judgy comment, wasn't it, Mark?
I
didn't know there was a grown-up in the room.
I'm not innocent of that either. So I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what the issue could be. Okay. I'm not judging you. You point a finger and it's got 3 pointing back at you, and I know that. Just saying.
Emotional, damn it!
My God, the sound drops are just getting wilder and more varied.
That's why we waited an hour before we started.
All right. Okay.
Gav,
what's next?
Am I? Okay. I've got a quick one.
Okay.
Will Malik Harrison replace Landon Roberts in our hearts and minds?
That's going to be a no from me at this point. It's going to take a lot because I love Landon Roberts. No shade on Malik Harrison, but I suppose this time last year, maybe I was kind of in the same boat. Maybe that's a tough one. Definitely. We'll have to definitely keep monitoring that on training camp. I'm going to ultimately say no, just because I love Landon Roberts so much. But it's a good question.
I do think it's worth bearing in mind that we gave him a bit of a saucy contract, right? I don't know the exact deal. I haven't got him to hand, but I feel like he got a bit of a saucy deal. They're paying him a little bit more than you expect for a backup, right? I expect him to see the field. I think
he's going to be their blitz specialist.
Yeah, I think Cole Holcomb's out of here.
Do you?
We'll see how he looks in training camp. Maybe that's one of the questions that need answers in training camp is how Cole Holcomb looks. But I think he's maybe on the outside looking in terms of importance.
2 year, $10 million. Yeah, that's
different roles though. Different roles. He can still stick around the team. We'll see how it goes. But
they've gotten out. They can cut Malik. He's 27.
27, yeah.
Jeez, we're getting old, so.
Man. I'm too cynical for this discussion today. I just can't. I can't right now. I'm going to say yes. Malik Harrison, because I've been on this corner for the last couple of weeks as well of thinking that I kind of feel like he's going to have a bit more of an impact on this defense than people are. Like, no one's talking about Malik Harrison, it feels like right now.
Right, he's the forgotten man.
Yeah.
And, the Omar was cooking when he came up with this contract. Omar does contracts so well. So his cap hit is $3.2 million this year, and they've got a potential out, and they can cut him for a $2 million dead cap loss, right? But if they want to re-sign him, or they just don't do anything, and they go, yeah, he plays well, then he's got $6.8 million next year. That's a big figure. That's bigger than anything he's earned. So that's a massive incentive. Like, he's on a prove-it deal, basically.
Yeah.
I am rooting for this guy. I am convinced that he's going to be... I'm going to forget about Landon Roberts, and I'm going to be all about Malik Harrison. So, yes, for me, yes, he is going to replace us in our hearts and minds. That's why I asked this question.
All right, I'll stay as the outlier.
Gav's got a new boy.
Well, not yet, but potentially. He was my boy in the draft.
Oh,
went to the Ravens, didn't perform. This is his second chance.
He's a potential boy.
Come on, Malik. We can do this. We can do this. I want a Harrison jersey because,
Yeah.
That would be quite handy, isn't it? It's like a double
Sure.
jersey.
Sure. Yeah, 50, good number. Yeah.
That
All
was
right, I like it.
Wasn't that Robert's number?
It was.
Wow.
Exactly. He's the guy. He's the direct replacement. He's cheaper, and they paid. They actually, I think the Steelers told you what they thought by they paid him more than what Roberts was asking for. So yes, they got younger a little bit, but I think they may think that he's better.
Intriguing.
So what are you saying, Si? Did you say yes?
I'm saying yes. Yeah, I support this.
All right. I'm very excited for it.
I'm going to say no, but I'm also, that's very much on my love of Landon Roberts rather than Malik Harrison, and I hope he proves me wrong.
Why is he the forgotten man? Because he signed in the wave of free agents, and then lots of other news happened, and everyone's forgot about him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. It's the same as, a lot of these guys, nobody really thought much about the Deshaun Elliott move last year, and then, look how that turned out. So,
I think it's also just a position where people are excited about other players. People are excited about Peyton Wilson. People are excited about Patrick Queen.
I'm very excited about Peyton Wilson. In terms of year 2,
as I said before we started recording, Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen, same age.
Mad.
That's so crazy.
That is mad.
Sneaky old. He's a sneaky old.
Sneaky old and sneaky young. But Malik Harrison and Peyton Wilson come both blitzing. That's a potential.
That's what we need. And
that's where you can start to see some of what you were saying, Gav, about the potential for more aggression, the way this team's being built on defense. And I can see that.
Maybe last year was just a setup for this year, so that everyone thinks they know what's going to happen, but then suddenly this year, out of those same packages, same formations, you're getting different outputs. Let's hope it's a 2-year thing. You never know.
By the end of this offseason, I'm going to be convinced the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl. This is what happens every year. I talk to you guys, and I come out of here, and I'm like, wow, the Steelers team.
Well, you've got to find hope, right? I mean, that's what I do all week. I sit here thinking about what I'm going to talk about on the podcast, and I think about what can I possibly say that's positive. So here it is. This is it.
Anything else? Any other? Where are we up to? How many more have we got?
Yeah, I've got a couple more. Yep. Okay. Will more than one UDFA light up Latrobe and earn himself a roster spot by the end of it? So we like this group of UDFAs in here, and let me just remind you of the names that we've got in here. Key on that list, Sebastian Castro, the safety out of Iowa. We've talked a little bit about JJ Galbraith, the tight end out of South Dakota, who did pick up an injury, and hopefully it's not too serious. I can't remember the severity of it. Rock Taylor was obviously a big name to look out for as well, the wide receiver from Memphis, who a couple of us were quite big on coming out of the draft. Blake Mangelson, the defensive tackle out of Brigham Young, BYU. DJ TJ, how could we forget the great name DJ TJ, the fullback / tight end out of South Alabama. Aiden Williams, offensive guard out of Minnesota Duluth, and Keshawn Williams, wide receiver out of Indiana. And then, of course, Ben Sauls, the kicker out of Pitt. And then, not on this list as well, a guy that we signed up to the initial 90-man, Gareth Wilson, the massive offensive tackle that we were very big on. Was it Wilson? I think it was. Yeah.
No, Williams, wasn't it?
No. What? Oh no, it wasn't. It was. No, it's not Wilson. Who is it? It's not Williams either. Oh God, I was massive high on him, and now I've completely forgotten what his bloody name was. Gareth. Was it
Warren?
Warren. Gareth Warren. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So, will more than one of those carve themselves out a roster spot after lighting up Latrobe? Now, I say more than one because I think Sebastian Castro has got a huge chance of doing that himself.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say Sebastian Castro is a given. He's a downhill exocet missile, a rocket. He's going to make some huge plays.
I won't say given, but I think he's close. At this early stage, yeah.
I think he's a given. I think they were lucky to get him undrafted. So with that being said, it's will anyone else make an impression? And I think there's always someone. So I'm going to say yes. I think someone will. Whether they'll make is it Do they make the 53, or is it?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Would they make the 53? Do you think any of these
moving the goalpost? I've kicked the ball and the goalposts are moving.
I'm pretty sure he said that to begin with.
I said carve out a 53-man roster spot.
53? No,
Ooh,
not the 53. I think Sebastian Castro will make the 53. I don't think there's anyone else.
Yeah, I just think that there's been too much free agent talent brought in. I think probably to have more than one. Who knows? I mean, who knows? You know, like you say, Rock Taylor could show up and just absolutely blow everyone away.
That's the thing. Like you look at two positions that are kind of weaker in depth than others, is wide receiver and the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I think that can open the door for someone like Rock Taylor and for the man I just butchered his name, bless him, Gareth Warren, to have opportunities here to jump in, and maybe a guy like Aiden Williams, balls out and finds a spot himself. Anybody on that kind of depth chart drops out through injury as well, then that's a massive boost for them, because these aren't high profile depth guys that we're looking at behind here. So I think there's every opportunity in the world for a couple of these guys to go through. I'm with Gav almost in saying I think Castro is almost a given in making a name for himself on this roster. I kind of lean towards Rock Taylor as my other guy, because I was so high on him at the draft, and I think he could sneak out a role. You have to kind of consider the likes of Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek. Let's not forget Ben Skoranek in this whole thing. So maybe it could be a little bit more difficult in that respect. But again, these offensive line guys I look at it. You have a good camp. You've got every chance in the world of sneaking in the back end of this 53.
So do you know the last year that 2 UDFAs made the initial 53-man roster?
Ooh. So the year Jalen did it, I'm guessing he was the only one who got through?
No, I guess 2020.
I'll go earlier. 2018?
2020 is right.
Oh, 2020.
Can you name any of the players?
Jalen Warren.
No, that was 2022.
Later, yeah.
So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I was going to say. I'll tell you what I'll do. There's also been, as a part 2 of this question, there's been 10 UDFAs that have made the Steelers' initial 53 in the last 10 years since 2015. Ooh. How many can you name? You've got Jalen Warren,
Beanie Bishop.
It's 2.
That's possibly where my list ends.
Yeah,
I think there's one more that's still on the roster that you should get.
Dylan Cook.
No.
Who's the other? Ooh, give me the year of his UDFA.
2020. This is the other. There was 2 in 2020,
and one of them still on the roster now.
You've not said either. One of them still on the roster yet.
Ooh.
Oh, James Pierre.
Oh, I forgot his UDFA. Yeah, bloody hell.
Then I think it gets a little bit harder, but there's a couple names for sure that were like old favourites that you could definitely pull from 2018, 2019. I'll give you a minute. Definitely old favourites of the pod for sure, guys that came up multiple times.
Surely not.
Wait, I know. The linebacker, he was a UDFA. He'd just gone to the Raiders. He went to the Raiders a couple of years ago. I've forgotten his name.
You want the names?
No. I can get there. Oh my God. Who's the Raiders linebacker that we had that stopped Derrick Henry at the 1 yard line? You know what I'm talking about.
It's not him.
He's the UDFA, wasn't he?
I don't think was he a UDFA? I don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But either way, he's not.
Oh, Bobby Spillane.
Yeah, Bobby Spillane. He was a UDFA, 100%.
But was he a UDFA for the Steelers? Like, did he come?
Pretty sure he was. He wasn't drafted.
Yeah, but did he come? Did he immediately sign for the Steelers?
Tennessee Titans.
Oh damn! Did he play for the Tennessee Titans? He was a UDFA for the. No, he was cut from the 53 end of training camp. Practice squad. He made his debut in October.
Oh, it's not bloody David Perales, is he?
No.
All
right, do you want the names? You'll like these.
Yeah, he never made the 53. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah.
So the first one you didn't get in 2020 was Corliss Waitman. Bit of a cheeky one. Bit of a cheeky one because it's the punter. But then you'll like these. In 2019, Tuzar Skipper. Remember Tuzar Skipper?
Yeah, I know the name, yeah.
Yeah. We thought he was
going to be... name. We talked about him a lot.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be the next big thing for quite some time. And Fred Johnson, who I don't recall as much. Do you remember Fred Johnson?
Sounds like a running back from the Jags or the Bills from like 1995.
Well, there you go. 2018 too made it as well. The one that you'll, I think, remember, Ola Adeniyi.
Oh, yeah.
Ola. He was standing around for a while. Another guy we thought might be a big thing.
I actually took advice on how to say his name from a Nigerian.
How did you introduce yourself?
It wasn't Adeniyi. It was Ola Adeniyi.
Adeniyi, okay. I thought I'd done pretty well for the first time. It'd been a while since we said it. I thought I'd done pretty well.
You weren't expecting, Gav to play the reverse Uno Nigerian card there. Like.
And then Matthew Thomas was the other one in 2018. I don't remember him.
Who?
Huh? And then these are two names that I think will really give you a huh. For 2015, because
Ross Ventrone.
None made it in 2017 or 16. In 2015 too, Tyler Murphy.
No.
Corshand Lions.
Oh,
No.
what a name that is, by the way.
So, how little we knew ye, Corshand Lions.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been 5 years since two have gone through, so it's there's the potential there, but I don't know. I've got a little bit of belief.
It's a good question. It's a great question, but also, I'm going to go with no.
Also, do you remember the UDFA that battled Jalen Warren for that other running back spot? Do you remember his name?
Oh,
I remember putting him on the 53.
Very big on him.
Yeah, I was big on him as well. Yeah. It was something like Marcel Deuce or something.
Close-ish.
Or Darcel Moose.
No,
Darcel Moose.
You're getting further away from it.
Okay, Marcel. It was Marcel Dunes.
It wasn't. Yeah, no. I'll give it Master Teague.
Master Teague.
Oh, Master Teague.
That wasn't the guy I was thinking of.
That was not the guy I was thinking of either.
No.
No, I think I know who you were talking about, Gav, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, did you have another guy as well? Because Master Teague was the guy who was like Dave's big guy, and like.
So what year was that?
2022, I believe. Yes.
2022 Steelers.
Because he ended up. Yeah, he was like. He was like on the Bears one, and then he went to the Steelers one, and then just it was kind of between him and Warren, and obviously Warren won out, and then he never actually went to any other team after that. Career ended just like that.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can find.
Me too.
You're trying to find the other one that he was.
Yeah, the other one. We both had massive hopes for him.
Oh God!
No, I think I'm going too far back because now I'm getting to like Jalen Thomas. It was definitely after that. It was 2022.
So it wasn't
Matteo Durant.
Yes,
oh,
Durant.
God,
Durant.
yeah.
Yes, Durant.
See, Marcel Deuce. That's how my brain works, right? The same first two letters of every name was right.
Darcel Moose.
Matteo Durant. Oh my God!
What happened to Matteo Durant?
He did play for the St. Louis Battlehawks for a couple of seasons. In fact, last season he played for them.
Because that's what Jalen Warren overcame, right? He was the big UDFA that came in with all the buzz, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this Durant guy's the guy. He's going to make the cut. He's the one."
Yep.
And then Jalen Warren just helmet on all the time, just busted through the line like he does, and just ran into being potentially running back one this year. I mean, what a performance!
1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns in his last year for Duke. Durant, I think he came in first team All ACC. Yeah, he was popular.
Didn't make the cut, man.
Look at the names of this depth chart that Jalen Warren just left to dust. Benny Snell, Anthony McFarlane, Trey Edmonds.
And then ultimately he's left Najee Harris to rot as well.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, the blind Najee Harris.
Good old Jalen. Oh, God, yeah.
Old One-Eye Harris.
Dear Lord.
Oh, dear.
So, Mark, I didn't record your answer. Did you say
yes?
yes?
I'm gonna be hopeful on this one. I think someone else other than Castro will also break the mold and get through. And I would not be surprised if it's an offensive lineman of some sort. Whether they'll see the field or not, I don't know. But I think there's every opportunity for them. And now that I remember Gareth Warren's name, I'm definitely going to root for Gareth Warren because I was pretty high on him after we had the interest.
Well, he blots out the sun.
He's huge. So huge, man. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Have you got one more, Gav? Or
I'm out.
Oh, yeah, because you did a couple. Okay, I got an interesting last one for you. And I'm kind of anticipating nose here. But, well...
Nose hair?
Nose hair, yeah. I'm anticipating a no definitely from one person, and maybe I'll be able to sway the other. Will Howard be taking second team reps by the end of Latrobe? Will he usurp Mason's second team reps?
So here's the interesting little caveat, little loophole in this question: is there a potential that maybe he just takes the second team reps because they're kind of like, we want to see what we've got out of this dude. Aaron Rodgers is new, he wants some reps, and we kind of know what Mason is.
Now
it doesn't necessarily make him QB2.
Yeah, this is the thing. That's the thing. I'm not saying is he going to be QB2. I'm just going to say, is he going to be taking second team reps by the end
so
of the camp?
Would it count, for example, would it be yes if he was splitting the second team reps with Mason Rudolph? 50-50.
I'd say so, because I don't think Carl Allen didn't take any second team reps last season, did it?
Yeah, probably not.
No.
What do you think, Gav?
Although was he actually, because Russ was injured, so...
I'm going to say no. I think the Steelers value those second team reps so highly that they want their backup coming in. If they had a competition at quarterback, then I think you'd see more opportunities for Howard. But no, I think because they know that they've got a QB1, Hall of Fame franchise guy, they just want a guy that's going to come in if Rodgers has a five snaps down with an ankle injury or something. They want a guy that's going to come in and just run the same offense, and Mason can do that. So I'm going to say no, unfortunately.
You don't think there's a world where Mason stinks the joint out and Will Howard's actually impressing?
I don't think Mason will stink the joint out. I think we know what Mason is, and it is a decent backup.
But has 1 year of Tennessee ruined the boy? Like, going to come back?
I don't think so. Backup quarterbacks get a tough rep, but I think it's a very important role. It's being prepared to come in and understanding the entire playbook at the drop of a hat, and you might never play, but you're ready to play.
That's why we're making a show about them.
That's not where Will Howard is. Will Howard's fighting for a roster spot. He's trying to show up and impress coaches. That's not what Mason's doing. Mason's coming up and just being professional. And I think that's more valuable to this team this year. I think Mason's professionalism is more valuable than Will Howard's, scrappy dog wanting to prove himself. So no, sorry.
Yeah, but Mason Rudolph didn't win a national championship, you say. So yeah.
This is a bit of like my head is agreeing with Gav, but my heart wants to agree with Mark.
Yeah, this is why I thought you might be a bit torn on this one. To be fair, I'm the same. To be honest,
yeah. I do see the world where I think for this to happen, Will Howard would need to show up and really be impressing people with third team. Like he would need to be in there with the third team and be like, people are turning heads, being like, "Wow, this kid looks like start him." It's like, "Whoa, look at some of these throws he's making." And then maybe you would start because the problem is right now, like Gav says, there's no real impetus at this moment in time. Like you've got Aaron Rodgers here for this year. Mason Root, like you said, Gav, is a consistent backup. We understand what he is. There's no real reason to rush Will Howard into any kind of lineup, even a backup position. Probably the best place for him right now is that emergency quarterback third string guy without the helmet or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or even, can I just say, even if Aaron Rodgers went down injured and it was a season-ending injury, I think there's a chance that Will Howard might see some snaps then.
Yeah,
he might come in season. It's like, okay, it's a blown-out season. We've lost it. Yeah, it's over. Sure. Let's see Will Howard then. I think if they're on some kind of competitive run, then that wouldn't happen. Then we'd see Mason come in and steer the ship for a game or two, and then Rodgers coming back. I think that's more likely. In training camp, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. Like I say, I think he would have to really impress people very early to the point where you get to the end, the third preseason game, and you're saying wow, actually, this is a serious contender to just straight up be the backup quarterback. And we kind of want him there because there's a chance we might want to see what this kid has got, because it might be the reason we don't draft a quarterback next year. That's the only way I could see it happen. And again, like I say, for that to happen, he would have to really blow people away early. So I think it's unlikely. So I'm going to say no.
No, I'll go with no as well, ultimately.
Come on.
No, I'm not going to. No. No,
doesn't impress me.
The realist in me is going to come out.
What the hell is even that?
They were no wonder.
The realist in me is going to come out here and just...
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
I think that's very much my approach on this. But no, sorry, I'm not going to waver from it. I'm going to join you guys. I think ultimately it's Masons to lose, and I don't think he will lose it for the reasons Gav said.
All right, not the reasons I said though, just the ones Gav said.
Yeah, you make that points as well, obviously. Just want to say, yeah, we just briefly mentioned Najee Harris and the eye thing. You see what the Chargers GM said about it?
Oh no!
No, what did he say?
You hate to see it. What a poor choice of words.
Yeah. It's the classic thing. Never return to a lit firework and never look into a hose to see why it's not working.
Never return and look directly into a lit firework either. Jeez.
Well, it's just a case of standing above it and then it goes straight off in your bracket. Classic.
Do you know, fireworks are one of these things. It's a bit like donuts, although I must admit the seesaw has swung the other way on donuts in recent years, where it's like, I like them, right? I like them. In fact, I think they're great. But is it worth the trouble?
They're definitely not an investment.
Right. Like, do I need this potential? Do I need any risk of this? For the sake of seeing shiny lights in the sky, do I need any risk of blowing my arm off? And the equation is just no.
Well, is there more of a way to spend your money on something frivolous than fireworks?
Right.
Like, it's the ultimate in hedonism, isn't it?
Well, I would like to think that I'm the ultimate in hedonism and I don't spend anything on fireworks. So.
I mean, do you know who the KLF were?
The KLF?
That tells me no. They were a big kind of like rave pop band.
Yeah, they did.
They were pretty cool.
I thought you were talking about the Korean Liberation Front.
No. The KLF were a pretty cool like rave group in the like late 90s. Or sorry, late 80s, early 90s. And they wrote a book called The Bible, which was how to become a pop star. They burnt £1 million in an act of, I don't know what it was. It was meant to be, we are so effing popular, we don't care. So they burnt £1 million, and they did it like on the Isle of Wight or something, because that's the only place you could do it where you wouldn't get arrested as being like for treason or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're regretting burning that £1 million right now.
Did it work? I'm guessing not.
Well, I mean, I remember it, but you know, you're a generation after me. You've never heard of the KLF, have you?
No.
So I'm pretty sure they could do with that £1 million right
Yeah.
now, which inflation adjusted would be, you know, if they'd invested it, you'd get like a minimum of 6% return. You know, they could be all, you know, quite happily retiring now. But good music. Check out the KLF. They're going to rock you.
All right.
Yeah, I got them mixed up with EMF, who did Unbelievable, but
similar time.
Similar.
KLF were much more underground.
Yes,
but absolutely hit the big time.
I have heard of the £1 million thing. Yeah, they deleted their whole back catalogue, I think, as well, something like that at the time, and now they've kind of turned on that. Yeah, I was aware of them. I just completely got them mixed up with You're Unbelievable.
Yeah, a bit more hardcore than that.
Yes, slightly.
A bit more ravey,
yeah. EMF, definitely not that kind of.
Yeah. Does that signify we're at the end of the segment? I
think so. Yeah, now that we're talking about KLF and EMF,
it was a good seg. I enjoyed the seg.
It was. That's why we do it. It always makes good conversation.
Yeah.
We do we have time to do the long forgotten seg?
Oh, go on then. Go on. Make it if you make it quick. Go on.
Yeah. Do I need to resend you the list mainly?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Hang on 2 seconds then. So this has been talked about for weeks, and I thought it was going to be a bit in the end where we never actually did it. But no. Let's not keep the bit going on any longer. Let's return to the Steelers' draft picks of the last 25 years, and let's go to the second round draft picks that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made over the last 25 years. So just going to find the second round guys here. Here we are. Yeah, basically, if you don't remember for what we did last time, and I say go listen back, but if you have one certain platform, you won't be able to. We went through the first round draft picks of the last 25 years of the Steelers, and we just kind of talked through them and discussed who the best and worst of the picks were of that round. And now we move on to the second round picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're just having a look at the list here. And for me, let's talk about the best of this group first. And
can we not talk about the worst? Because there's an obvious one.
Well, I was going to say, is there an obvious one for the best as well?
Okay, fine. All right.
Just because I don't know about you. Do you think that Lev Bell is the clear number one guy in this list?
Yes, but I think Stefan Tuit is a close second.
Just
close.
very quickly, do we want to read the list in its entirety?
Yeah,
for the
I think that's
maybe?
probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't do that last time, but I think it's probably good for the listener. So
I don't know if that's really terrible podcasting just to read a list of names, but it might be helpful to people.
I'll try and make it somewhat entertaining. So
yes, dance, monkey, dance.
Here we go. So in 2000, we took tackle Marvel Smith. In 2001, linebacker Kendrick Bell. 2002, wide receiver. Very fond memories of this man, Antoine Randall L.
Was he a quarterback?
Was he a quarterback? Threw a touchdown pass in the
Was
Super
he a
Bowl.
running back?
Was he great at the little stuff at the start, the player intros? Yes, he was.
Would he be used more like how Debo was now?
Possibly, yeah. Well, we'll talk about Antoine Randall in a bit, actually, because I think he's definitely worth a full convo. But 2003, Alonzo Jackson, linebacker. 2004, Ricardo Colclough, defensive back. Another defensive back, probably more well-known, Bryant McFadden in 2005.
Mentioned already on this show.
Yeah. Didn't have one in 2006. In 2007, Lamar Woodley, defensive end. Lima Swede in 2008, wide receiver. Another gap in 2009.
He's got to be in the conversation for the worst. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that conversation. Yeah. Jason Worrells, defensive end in 2010.
I think he could be up there if he not retired and become a priest.
Yeah.
Marcus Gilbert, tackle in 2011. Mike Adams, another tackle in 2012.
Bust.
Then Lev Bell in 2013, running back, definitely not a bust. And definitely also not a bust, Stefan Tuit in 2014. What a back-to-back second-round grouping that was, defensive end. Then Senquez Golson, corner in 2015. Sean Davis, another corner in 2016. Then our boy, Juju Smith-Schuster in 2017, a wide receiver, obviously. James Washington in 2018, another wide receiver. And then after a gap in 2019, another wide receiver in one Chase Claypool in 2020. Then our boy Moof, I nearly called him Fat Fryermuth then. Pat Fryermuth, tight end 2021. George Pickens, wide receiver again, 2022.
5 years of pass catchers drafted.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Then, another guy that will in the future be in the conversation undoubtedly, Keanu Benton in 2023. But obviously we had 2 second-round picks in 2023 because before that we had Joey Porter Jr. at the very top of the second round that year. And then Zach Frazier last year as our second-round pick in 2020.
Why did we have a second-round pick in 2019? Can you remember?
No, it wouldn't have been because of Minka, because that was the year after. That was the first round. Why didn't we have a second-round pick in 2019?
Did we trade up to get someone in the first round?
Was that Devin Bush?
Devin Bush? Was it something to do with that? Maybe.
Yeah, it was part of the Devin Bush trade. I thought that was why it was. I didn't want to say it without knowing.
That was,
yes,
that was the guess.
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Lev Bell, I think, is where the conversation should start in this list because
it's Lev Bell versus Stefan Tuit. I think.
I think, but I also
I want to shout out Zach Frazier.
I think
too early.
I know, obviously, but I just want to say, it's very reasonable to expect that 10 years from now he could be the answer. Just based on year 1.
He could be the answer.
So could Keanu Benton. Anyway, but yeah, I genuinely believe the conversation starts with Lev Bell here. And again, Stefan Tuit was absolutely fantastic through all those years, and obviously it was a very big shame how his career ended. It was a big shame how Lev Bell's time with the Steelers ended, to be perfectly honest with you. And, he has said so himself. He regrets, the move out. And just imagine what could have been if he'd have carried on. I think you've said that plenty of times on this show, Gav.
Well, both of them. I think both of them.
Yeah.
If Tuit hadn't retired and Bell hadn't done his contract holdout, we could be talking about 2 Hall of Fame players here. I honestly think they were both on that trajectory.
Yeah, certainly Steelers honor, Ring of Honor players or whatever we have. Is it? What do we have? The Ring of Honor? I can't remember what Steelers
Hall of Record.
Something along those lines.
Hall of very good. So Tuit was the last great sort of classic Steelers defensive end that they've drafted in the traditional mold. They haven't drafted another guy like it. Played 91 games. Lev Bell played 62 games as a running back. Both impactful. I think Lev Bell as a fantasy asset and as a highlight machine probably gets the nod here. But
a killer bee.
Killer bee, yeah. But short and sweet. 2013 to 2017, that's what he played. Tuitt played 2014 to 2021. I'm going for Tuitt here as more of a value pick.
Okay.
Bell burnt bright and was a great player and was so exciting. Was I don't know if we'll ever see a running back like him again.
Yeah, that's exactly why I would have him at the top, because I don't think we will unless we get some unbelievable player down the line. It's just what an asset he was, what a player he was.
I think it kind of depends. I think if you're looking at this from the perspective of like which player would I draft as the most impactful player for a unit, then I think I probably agree that you'd take Stephon Tuitt, just because of the position that he plays. But if we're talking about like who is the most impactful player, or maybe even just who was the best at their respective position, I think maybe Lev Bell is the answer. I mean, this dude changed the way that we even viewed running backs. Like, even to this day, it's still cliche for commentators to say like, "Oh, he's so patient at the line. It reminds you of Le'Veon Bell."
That's true. He's the original archetype of a certain type.
Yeah, and that's so rare in this day and age when it feels like everything's been explored to get something like that. And Le'Veon Bell was my hero when I was first becoming a Steelers fan. He was my favorite player. I've got the little statue of him. As with so many things in life, it's a shame what became of him. But isn't that the truth with everyone? What is life but just an opportunity for great men to let you down?
True.
So positive. Yeah, I mean, you just look at Lev Bell, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. It's just, yeah, he was fantastic. Was he the only? Just having a look here,
and he's so associated with like those classic moments, right? In that era,
Lev Bell is the only All-Pro second-round pick in this whole list that I've just mentioned. Got a couple of other Pro Bowlers kicking here and there, but yeah, the only one to get an All-Pro. That's wild.
But ultimately, I can accept either one of those two.
Yeah. I think definitely
it's close.
Definitely between those two.
Okay, worse. I'm gunning for Lima Swede, the receiver. When was he drafted there? He was
drafted in 2008, and I think he finished in 2009.
Yeah, well, he was on the Super Bowl. He was the Super Bowl year, so he got a Super Bowl ring. Yeah. How much did he contribute? He dropped one of the biggest passes in a championship game I've ever seen when it was against the Ravens. They still went on to win the game, and it didn't matter, but it was just a ridiculous moment. And he had all the talent in the world, but just none of the ability to actually make it work. And it was pretty awkward, really. It was kind of he had physical talent, but it just never happened. And just it was like Chase Claypool, like the mental mistakes and combine that with the hologram hands. It was just awful. Shocker.
Well,
yeah, go on, Matt.
Well, no, I was just going to counter with, I mean, Senquez Golson.
Yeah, it's the only other name.
Did he play a game?
I don't think. His was injury.
Yeah,
so that was the busted evaluation.
Exactly.
I do think there's another name on the list you could mention. That's Mike Adams.
Yeah.
Because he was drafted high as a technical tackle, and it's funny they haven't drafted another technical tackle like him since until Troy Fautanu. So he's the first guy in that mold of like slightly undersized but really, really polished and productive career. That was Mike Adams. He was seen as I remember in the draft he was seen as a safe bet, and that was the year they took Kelvin Beachum that same draft, and he was the guy that won the job. And Mike Adams never really recovered. And I remember was that the year or the year before they came to London, and I just remember thinking, where's Mike Adams on this team? Like, where is he? What's happened? And yeah, I don't know how many starts did he make? Probably not very many.
Yeah,
let's have a look.
Yeah, and the thing is about someone like Adams, like, is it worse to not only not play, but also play so poorly that it like sets the team back? You know.
He played 21 starts.
But like,
I find that surprising.
But it's not. But like, that's in a way that's worse than Sinquez Golson, right? Because Sinquez Golson at least wasn't in the way, whereas Mike Adams like was blocking us from replacing him.
I don't think. I think Sinquez Golson had all the talent in the world, but you'll never know because he was injured.
Yeah.
So it was a bad draft pick. I don't think you can put that on the player.
And because he got injured, that's part of the reason we probably drafted Artie Burns the next year. So
boy,
to hell with Sinquez Golson because he put us through that. God, it's just so. You look at these. Gav just mentioned it there. We drafted 5 pass catchers in a row between 2017 and 2022. One of them is on the team, and it's the tight end. Like,
yeah,
that's depressing, isn't it? Like, James Washington's probably, I would say, the worst of the bunch out of the lot of them, potentially. I did like James Washington.
I think he had the lowest upside.
Yeah.
He had the highest floor, possibly.
But yeah, the thing is, I like James Washington. I always thought he was a solid piece. And, in that time that we kind of had a good group of guys, he was kind of like, well, yeah, we're backed up by James Washington here, who I think does a good job. But then, Chase Claypool, we obviously, God, how many times we talked about that and his career arc, and recently with George Pickens as well. I mean, Juju's always going to have a special place in our hearts. Whether he's like a top guy in this list, I suppose almost by default he kind of ends up being one in a way. But he's definitely, like, in terms of vibes, he's definitely up there for us. But then, go back to Antoine Randall. I mean, this is a guy who wasn't an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler by any stretch of the imagination, but threw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl that helped us win that game, and was a hell of a character, hell of a guy.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think it's him and it's Cordell Stewart were players that were in the wrong era, and if they were playing now, they'd be stars. I think they'd be fantasy stars. They'd be players we'd all know about. But they were just in an era where coaches were conservative and didn't want to take risks, and they just but it worked because everyone was playing the same way. If someone if Mike Tomlin was brave enough, or Cowher before him were brave enough to use these guys in a completely revolutionary way, we might talk about these players like how we talk about who am I thinking of here? Like Percy Harvin or someone like that. Someone that we think of as being a kind of a total difference maker. Deebo Samuel. I didn't want to say his name because I'd already said it, but that's who I'm really talking about. Like that kind of player where they're like a chess piece that they can move around and you can see interesting schemes and stuff. Like Andy Reid would have a field day with these guys, but the Steelers were too conservative, too boring, didn't use them in the right way. Or like Lamar Jackson, like Cordell Stewart could have been like a Lamar Jackson, but they wanted to turn him into a pocket passer, so it never happened.
Yeah, no, I fully agree.
Sorry, old man.
No, I was going to say, Wikipedia had
the bottom of the list just feels like a lot of like wasted potential to me, right? Like maybe it's inevitably going to feel like that if you don't win anything, maybe I guess. But even just the way a lot of the stories ended, right? You look at Juju, James Washington, Claypool, Pickens. Let's be honest, maybe even Freiermuth. Just the way things are. Let's hope it doesn't continue to infect that list as it goes down. But it just.
Was Sean Davis a win or a loss? What about Marcus Gilbert?
I think Sean Davis is one of those that's a bit of a weak push, It's fine, for a second round.
Because he ended up playing more safety, didn't he?
He played a lot of safety and was actually kind of solid for us for that rookie contract, and then he moved on, and that was fine.
The Skins, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then Marcus Gilbert, he stuck around for a while, didn't he?
Second round tackle, not the end of the world.
7 odd years, I think he was there. Yeah.
And then Worrells is the interesting one. Yeah. He was potentially a sack. He could have been a real sack artist. But then if he hadn't have retired, they wouldn't have drafted TJ. So
butterfly effect. You see, we've seen it for good and for poor.
That was a real jaw dropper. I remember I was in my kitchen.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's one of the first. That's actually one of the very first kind of like Steelers news, like whoa moments I remember happening. Is the Jason Wilds retirement, because that was like probably like in when was that? Probably about 2013, 2014. So yeah, first
somewhere
couple of
around then,
years of me like being involved.
Because Woodley had all the potential. He came in, you were thinking, oh yeah, Woodley. He's the heir apparent to James Harrison, right? Same sort of barrel body, big tough guy. I don't know. He was good. He was good. He was kind of like Highsmith in a way.
One Pro Bowl nod, yeah.
He was good, but he was just never quite great. And then he went to the Raiders, and I don't know. But Woodley, I think he was a good footballer, but just I think he needed to be a number 2, and they were asking him to be a number 1 edge rusher. I don't think he was that guy.
No. No, you've got a couple of Pro Bowlers kind of stuck around here. Yeah, you just mentioned Lamar Woodley there, and then a couple of the early guys, Marvel Smith, Kendrell Bell. They were both Pro Bowlers.
McFadden was a good corner. And I know a lot of the fan base hated McFadden at times. That he was seen as the poor man opposite Ike. Like I remember people saying, like, he's the Steelers' defense was 10 men that won a Super Bowl plus McFadden, which seemed rough. And I think he was more of a heady corner. Like he wasn't such a skill man. He was more of a kind of, he could see things happening in the future and he'd try and do it. I think he gets a rough ride. I think McFadden was fine.
Yeah,
like he was I think a fine job.
Potentially, McFadden's all over the place at the moment with his pod with Patrick Peterson as well, and I think he kind of is in such a kind of spotlight now that you kind of have to try and separate that from the play that he had. But I don't think he was a terrible player. Just two-time Super Bowl champion still. So.
And then Marvel Smith, have we dropped the ball here? Is he the best second round pick?
You still would need some convincing for me to put him over Lev.
Yeah, I mean, how many starts did he have? Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, he won both Super Bowls as well.
Both Super Bowls. He was solid. I think maybe we've been a bit short. He was one of the better tackles on the team, probably the best tackle on the Super Bowl teams. Maybe he's the guy that we've just overlooked him because we wanted to get on to the more exciting guys. Hang on.
Yeah, because
how many starts did he have?
Yeah, one Pro Bowler as well. He had
108 games over 9 seasons. I'm starting to think actually he's the one.
He was super solid.
108 games over 9-season career. Consistent. The consistency, he was on a line that allowed Ben to thrive. I'm starting to think that Marvel Smith should be the pick, actually.
Well, there you go.
As a consistent, as what are you looking for from your second round pick? Are you looking for a 4-year running back? Are you looking for a 6-year defensive end? Or are you looking for a 10-year tackle that anchors your whole line?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Like, especially when you think about the value of it. It's just one of those things, isn't it, where it's not sexy compared to like when we talk about a Le'Veon Bell or even a Tuitt. But I think you're right.
I think it's Marvel Smith. I'm going to make the case. I think I know where Rich would be. I think Rich would say Marvel Smith too. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe
it's where Rich is at home and be like, Marvel Smith suck. Yeah.
Rich, send in your CD-ROM.
I get it does sound odd because to me, but maybe that's just also recency bias as well,
He was the best player on the line.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm kind of with you. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, well, you had Faneca in that line at one point.
Yeah.
Well, so like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're looking at there Marvel Smith, Alan Faneca, Jeff Hartings, Kendall Simmons, Max Starks. Like,
do you know what it is? It's it being a second round pick, right? Because when it's a first round pick, you kind of want, even if it's a late first round pick in your head, because you see the one, you kind of think, oh, I want this to be a really great player. I want this to be a superstar. When you get to the second round pick, if you, like you say, Gary, you can get a 10-year starting tackle. You're killing it value wise.
Yeah,
absolutely killing it. So, I think if you're looking for the right answer, I think you're probably right. It might just not be the fun one.
It might not be the fun one. I'm going Smith and Lima Swede as the worst.
Smith and Swede.
I'm going to stick with Bell
like
as
a horrible Irish stew.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm going to stick with Bell as my top gun. I just the impact even in such a short time, I think, is just it's probably more of the sexier pick as well, and and what have you, killer bees and all that. But just his impact that he made still sort of lasts on this team, I think. So, I'm going to pop in for that. I think I probably would. It feels harsh to put worse on Senquez Golson, really, because as you say, the injuries just kind of ruined him a little bit. So, yeah,
it's a bad pick.
yeah.
It's a busted pick. They knew he
Lima
was
Swede
injured.
is probably the guy that's gonna take that. But I mean,
I'll say Mike Adams just because I remember him better.
How will we look at George Pickens in 5 years' time when we revisit
He had
this?
some impact. I don't think he's as bad as
Yeah.
Swede. If you give me Swede's production or Pickens' production, give me Swede as being worse.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, do you think when we look at this in a decade's time, do you think we'll really look at Pickens that favourably? I mean,
Well, only if he goes off in Dallas. And
this is the thing.
The reports coming out of Dallas camp is that he's loving being number 2 to Lamb.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, but I will always have, the thing is with Pickens, we'll always have those moments, There was like 4 or 5 like elite level catches that you'll just never forget.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if the NFL field was like 10 yards, or not even that, 3 yards wider, so 1.5 yards each side, Pickens would be the best wide receiver in the whole of the NFL ever.
Yeah, he'd just be 1.5 yards slightly more to the right when he starts.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, there you go.
Right.
We nailed round 2.
Round 2.
We did it, finally.
Yeah.
That's only a month later. We might make it to round 3 before the season kicks off.
Ooh, that's very bold of you, yeah.
No, it's good. I want to do it. It's fun.
Some interesting names coming up in round 3.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, thank you for joining me this week, gentlemen.
Thank you for being here.
I don't,
Mr. Dejected.
as I say, it's always cheers me up talking to you two for a couple hours. Probably because I have to put on the happy persona, right, for the podcast. So like, it do you know what? If that doesn't tell you that like mental health is like just purely a figment of your own like you know what I mean, like what's going on in your brain. Not that mental health is imaginary. You know what I'm trying to say?
It's input and output. What you input, you get out back.
Right, exactly. Like I'm walking around moping all day, being like, "Oh God, everything's terrible," and then I get to you, and I'm like, "Everything's terrible," and then I force myself to be like joyful for 2 hours, and at the end of it, I feel
LJ did a psychology workshop today, and she said, "Oh yeah, there's 7 keys to mental health. It's quite simple, and if you've got these things, then you've got good mental health." I was like, "Oh yeah. Tell me, what are they?" "Oh, I don't know. I can't remember." I don't. She's like, "Don't worry, I can get." She's going to dig them out of her notes and she's going to give them to me, so I can come back to you next week because I really want to know what.
Yeah, what are the 7 keys?
She said one of them, the one she could remember. Maybe this is the key one. She said that your internal opinion of yourself matches the opinion that other people have of you, and if you have that, then you have good mental health. That's one of the 7 keys. I thought that was quite poignant.
It's an auspicious start for me then. Okay.
I was going to say, dear God. Wait, hang on a minute. Can we go back again? So wait, did I mishear what that was saying?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. So your opinion of yourself matches what other people's opinion of you.
Are you saying that this is so are you saying like this is true, or are you saying this is something you need to do? Like you need to match?
No, this is there's 7 markers of what makes this was a psychology lecture, and it's markers of what gives people good mental health.
So you're saying that if my view of myself is the same as other people's view of me,
your mental health will be better than if that wasn't true.
I see. I thought you were saying
so it's not necessarily something you can even affect, right? It's just your situation. So if you think of yourself as something and other people see you as something else, that affects your mental health.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not something that you can have psychologied out of you because you can't change it. You can't change how you can only change how you see yourself, right? You can't change how other people see you. So you need to adjust your own self-image, which is tough, right? But that's I guess that's the point of it, is that some people are going to suffer because they don't live up to the expectations or whatever.
God, it kind of ties into some of the manager training I was doing today as well. I did my last part of that today, and that was kind of focusing on self-awareness and kind of just dealing with your own emotions and emotional intelligence in that respect. So, God, that kind of ties in a little bit to that as well.
Self-awareness, something I found to be somewhat lacking out of middle management in the office environment.
Do you not think you have? Do you think you don't have high emotional intelligence?
I definitely don't.
I don't know. I wouldn't think. I maybe average. I don't know. I don't know that I'm. Maybe it's. I don't know. I'm just self-loathing. That's the problem. I don't think the 7 keys to healthy psychology is drugs, medication, self-loathing, and lack of sleep.
Well, they're all symptoms, right?
Right.
Rather than the causes.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to dig a little deeper into the Winstanley subconscious to know what's really going on.
Ask me after we're
whenever I've spoken to you or met you, I haven't laughed as much as I do the rest of the time. So that's something, man. So
that's very good.
So maybe that's the problem, is that I expect you to be funny, and I expect you to be like. I expect you to bring joy. Maybe that expectation in you is weighing down on you quite heavy. That you need to bring joy to everyone around you. So maybe you need to cut down on the joy expectation.
No, I disagree. I think, if anything, the expectation of people, for me to be joyful, probably forces me to be joyful a bit. Otherwise I'd just be moping 24/7.
Right. Well, it's a difficult balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Ask me about my mental health when the Steelers go 9-8 and miss the playoffs again.
Hey, man, we've all got a quantum computer inside us that's seriously malfunctioning constantly.
Oh yeah,
it's a real challenge dealing with the brain.
Yeah. The older I get, the less I even want to think about it. Like when I was young, I wanted to explore every element of this. I wanted to understand it all. And the older I get, the more I'm like, I just, you know what? Let's not even worry about it. We're not going to be here long enough to fix this.
And that's the real answer. Don't worry about it. Literally, we're all going to die. None of this matters. Thank God we're not eternal. Because then shit would matter.
Then things would be tough. Yeah. Then the nihilism would really set in.
Yeah, death sets you free.
What a way to end
Well, on that note, what a way to end this podcast, going out to nobody on our empty RSS feed.
As we have died, we are free.
Oh dear. Well, long live the UK Steelers podcast. The UK Steelers podcast is dead.
It will outlast us, Si. It will go on forever.
Yeah.
From the ashes of humanity.
Yeah, that's because you're going to build an AI program that keeps it going.
Keeps it going, yeah. That'll be the last thing that's still pumping out episodes when the rest of humanity's gone. The AI version of me and Gav. Hello, welcome to episode 7,500,700,200,000. Oh my god.
What's that?
Oh, that's it's very late. Very late drama that's actually happened here. Before we go,
drama.
Rob Ferguson has corrected himself.
Oh
no!
Correction. We're swinging all the way back to corrections corner.
Yeah.
What? Mind blown.
Correction for myself. The super colony was not in Argentina.
Huh?
They were Argentine ants, but the colony was in southern Europe, from Italy to Spain.
0.
There you go.
On that note, follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. Follow me.
Stop talking.
At Si wrote this. Follow Gav at Geo Boom Up. Follow Mark at Mish NFL. Follow Ketz's silly kebab thing. We'll see you all next week. Maybe if you heard this, then hopefully.
Yeah, well done. You have a gold star for detective work or podcasting. Thank you.